And we're now officially live. Sorry about the 2 weeks off. I literally got sick it was not last week, it was the week before. And we're actually editing a video. Randall's behind that little project, so you'll see that at some point down the line. I'm Adam.
And I'm Techpriest. And this is Operation Klondike.
Yeah, it's not a Dark Age era setting because I
Most,
wanted to do something different. And I remembered that a decent chunk of you actually came in because we did a couple Battletech streams.
yeah, I linked the stream because I do some other BattleTech related stuff. Just you know,
So it's
uh,
really just going to be Tech explaining to me stuff because this is the clan's not quite rulebook, but like how they operate and live, I guess.
no, that would be one of the role playing game books. This is more of a history of their first actual military operation, the lead up to that, and a category of the people that are kind of important to that.
Okay, so
So
this is when they start shooting each other like the bunch of savages they are. Got it.
yes, this is just after
The second nukening, or was it the first?
this is before the first nuking. Well, actually, the first nuking is kind of concurrent to this. What's
Amazing.
happened what's happened right now is that General Kerensky has left the sphere. He's finished Amerisov. He's fucking done with this shit, and he's leaving. He's taking his ball and he's going home.
Because wouldn't you,
Except,
after basically watching everyone eat lead paint chips and then like snort a bunch of meth and then press all the buttons?
yeah, he left before things actually really kicked off. And if
You missed the best part. They scream as the atomic radiation causes their organs to liquefy out of their body.
yeah, so Kerensky has left the sphere. He's incredibly paranoid, and he's basically the plan is that I have the most destructive weapons known to mankind, the largest military force known to mankind, and I've just fought one of the most destructive wars ever in the history of mankind. I'm getting the fuck out of here before any of this shit can be used again.
I can't wait for a Klondike bar themed D&D game. And Battletech Squad represent, yeah.
Yeah, BattleTech Squad represent.
And with that in mind, let me show you guys the cover. I know you guys have seen it, and this is the only thing I've seen in this book. And I'm not gonna lie, I like the executor. What is it called?
Uh, Exterminator. It's
Exterminator. I was
a
close.
Yeah, that is a very specialized mech. It was meant for headhunting. Basically, it's got a bunch of stealth systems built into it, so it can sneak up into enemy command posts and just exterminate people.
I see they've taken the at guy school of duck waddling. I very much
Yeah,
appreciate the duck waddle.
all
Wait, wait,
mechs
wait.
kind of
Is
have a
this
good duck
thing
model.
judo kicking, or is that like the mech in front of it dead?
That's the dead mech in front of it. It might have kicked it over actually too.
It looked like a
Mechs
judo
can do
kick
stuff like
because of
that.
positioning.
Mechs can do stuff like that. You can sweep the leg in a mech.
I like the two block guns on them too. Are
On
those
the
lasers?
arms.
Yeah.
Yes, those are medium lasers on the arms,
Also
if I remember correctly.
the random golden gun nipple on it.
I think that's a flamethrower.
That's something that I'd see in an Austin Powers movie.
Yeah.
And there's the aliens, colonial marines. That
Yeah, the poor bloody infantry about to get fucking obliterated by this thing.
the colonial marines, just without the smart gun. They have the pulse rifle, but they couldn't use the smart
Yeah.
gun because otherwise it'd be too obvious.
Yeah, I mean, pulse rifle looks like a fucking G36. Did it actually? I think the G36 was no, the G36 was later. I'm pretty sure.
All I do know is
But
that right before we started streaming, I found a funny video on the zip gun, and the greatest comment of all. You know how the world is kind of basically that of Clown World? Well, think about it like this. At least we weren't in the timeline where the Zip 22 was the main firearm of the United States military.
it never would have been unless we were like fighting squirrels.
You don't understand. Can't you envision drill sergeants screaming at crying infantrymen as they try to field strip those things?
Even better, it's McNamara's 100,000. Imagine those motherfuckers trying to field strip it. 1 in 10 would be absolutely like, oh no.
So anyway, in the wake of the massive nuking that happened, yeah, Kerensky just took his boys into deep space. He basically pulled a Tim Curry. This is all I know. I'm literally reading Forged in Blood's Fire because I'm reading this book blind. Tech has to explain things to me. Ah, yes, the glorious duck-walking Oh God, Exterminator.
Exterminator.
I
The
want to call it
Executioner
the
is a completely
Executioner.
different mech.
I know.
It's the fun thing is it's also a clanner mech. Uh, the Executioner is a later Omni-mech design from the clans. The Exterminator is pure Star League and basically we want to kill rebel groups really efficiently and pretend that they never existed.
So we get a big stomping duck-walking mech.
Yes. It's not quite as war crimey as the Firestarter or some of the later variants of like the Catapult or the Scarecrow,
Well,
which are
it does
basically
have napalm nipples, so you know.
it does have napalm nipples, but
And
there's
are those guns in its belt?
I think those might be yes.
Well, at least it doesn't
Those
have a crotch laser. I mean, come on. Can't you
actually no wait,
envision?
those are those missiles? I don't
It
know.
might be.
I can't remember. Either that or this might be a Flashman and I'm feeling absolutely retarded. If they somehow created a Flashman that looks like this, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? But I'm pretty sure that's an Exterminator.
I also love how its blocky fists feel like I don't know why I'm just envisioning them holding a gun and it's really stupid and makes me laugh. Like it's just a giant gun that it holds. I don't
Yep, that's an Exterminator. Uh,
Dreams of Babylon. I don't think you wanted Dreams of Babylon. They out of all the Middle Eastern empires, Babylon was it was there.
yeah. Oh, now I know it's on the chest. Okay, that's actually I think an anti-missile system.
Oh, okay.
If I'm looking through, yes, it would be.
It's like how ships have them for the same reason.
Yes. The thing on the top of the head is a small laser. It carries in the center of the chest. Those are LRM launchers around the waist, and then it's got the four medium lasers, two on each arm.
Oh, those are just mediums.
Yes. Because well, they're one.
I mean, they only look like cruiser batteries to me. I don't know, like if I had to rate like millimeter size, I'd probably give them 180, like a light cruiser's battery. Maybe a bit bigger based on the let me be massively like let me show the horrible brain damage in my head. Okay, so we got these guys. They're gonna die. They're in the foreground. They're like I'm gonna say 6 foot. Then we got that thing. I think that's an Irby that it kicked over, or something that looks like one.
It might be a Frankenmech,
So the Frankenmech
basically.
kicked over. That's probably like what 30 feet tall,
Uh,
35.
it's probably about the same height. Yeah,
Okay, so doing
decently
this in
sized.
mind, yeah, those things can probably murder. Those things can gun duel a cruiser.
Yeah,
Anyway, Dreams of Babylon.
this is just fluff, basically.
Oh wait, no, there's the Power Armor Man in CG. Time to die, Muty.
That's actually a Black Knight. It's a really badly done Black Knight.
It feels like it's a guy I should be killing in Fallout 2. This is the boss fight with the Enclave guy, not Frank Horrigan, but like the guy before
Yeah,
Frank Horrigan.
yeah. The Black Knight's a good mech. I like it a lot.
I like its whack ass short arms though. I like how it looks proportionally okay until you get its stubby arms. It feels like a cheap toy that's supposed to transform into something shit.
Yeah,
It's the CG. It's the CG. So Dreams of Babylon and the Snæfell. Snæfell, huh?
Snaffell Mountains, Soloth, Babylon, the Pentagon
They
worlds.
wanted to use the AE Val thing.
Yeah, the thing to remember with this right here is that this is just kind of shitty in universe fiction.
Oh yeah, we already skipped that in the World of Darkness stuff. So just skippity skip.
Yeah, we'll skippity skip. There's some. It's an okay. It's not like it's great, but sort of Dana here is sort of the kind of psychic. It's weird. This is
Oh, she could see the
we'll
future.
get into that. Sort of maybe like either that or she's fucking tripping balls. Nobody's really sure.
I think. Well, hey, remember they ripped off a lot of things, and sci-fi had like a
A
lot
lot
of
of this at the time,
psionic
yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
At the
and
time,
mysticism.
well, I mean, Clan Coyote is incredibly mystic. I mean, it's not as mystic as Clan Nova Cat, but it's still pretty mystic. especially in the 90s.
All you gotta do is take a fuckload of ayahuasca and then look at the machine elves to understand your future. And also
Yep.
never be sane again.
Yep.
So the
So the
introduction, huh?
Introduction. Who are the clans and where did they come from? That's the question most of the Innersphere was asking 25 years ago and continue to ask for years to come, even after the landmark works by Anastasius Vogt became public.
They keep
So
screaming, but God won't answer.
basically, yes, that's probably the book title. The clanners keep screaming, but God will never answer. So the simple answer is Operation Klondike, which is the code name for the operation that was done by Nicholas Kerensky to retake the Pentagon worlds. Now, to put it into perspective here, right?
Yeah, because these are just hibbity jibbity to me.
Okay, so the Pentagon campaign is also what it's known as. This is basically the Exodius had kind of two stages. As I
Well,
mentioned
yeah, there's
before,
the parts, and then you assemble all five, and then you instantly win duel monsters until they banned all five pieces of
oh yes, the
Exodia, the
Exodia.
forbidden one.
Yeah. Now,
I know
if
that
you're
Exodia. I don't know what this one is.
yes,
Oh,
this
it's Kerensky's big. It's Kerensky's big migration period. Okay.
It's when Daddy Kerensky left the
Yeah,
sphere
I just
that I
remembered.
mentioned
It's been
earlier.
a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is also sort of in universe as an introduction, but it's not too bad, honestly. Uh, while our team was processing the facts, the true impact it would have on our work was not apparent until our researchers began digging into the clan archives. A few months of research quickly turned into years of cataloging and detailing the many millions of disorganized and scattered files and reports.
Remember,
Uh,
guys, these are still being able to defeat these inner sphere guys despite not having any
this is
form of
after the
organization.
this is after the point when the Inner Sphere traveled to the clan homeworlds and kicked the shit out of them.
What I'm trying to say
And
is
it
that everyone on here ate wall candy from birth till death.
Yeah. Now the funniest bit about that though is that this is the most 90s fucking thing ever about this era of Battletech is that it all comes down to I shit you the fuck not. And I really do mean I shit you the fuck not. A man in power armor getting into a katana battle with a guy that just stepped out of his mech.
I mean, you say that and it's close, but the problem is he didn't ride in on a rocket skateboard to like jump kick him first.
That is true. That is true. There was not
He
that.
also is
So
not wearing a backwards.
almost.
He's also not wearing a version of the power armor suit that has a backwards baseball cap on it.
Yeah, good point. Still, it's weeb as fuck. um, it's pretty 90s. So the the thing about this is that this is the culmination of essentially what makes the clans in terms of why their society is so fucking weird. Yeah.
AKA the son of Kerensky was a mongoloid who really I
Yes.
basically, if it wasn't for the fact that on average your BattleTech average person's IQ is probably about 80,
Yeah. This is
probably about 80, and they don't understand concepts like not fucking killing yourselves to death.
this is space Afghanistan, essentially.
No, this would be like Space Doctor Strangelove, but where the concept of mutually assured destruction doesn't matter and they don't care.
So the big answer is that. So they kind of go into the how to use the book, which is basically you can use this as just here's a little historical thing. There's information about how to run a campaign set in this era, and there's details of the actual like battles and areas that they were fought over, along with more info on the Pentagon worlds because they actually are important up to well the Jihad era in BattleTech
Aren't the
because
Pentagon
battle
worlds where they settled or something?
the Pentagon worlds were the first worlds they reached in the Exodius. We'll get to that. So if you scroll down, you get some nice pictures of spaceships.
Oh, this feels like this is done in the 80s style.
Yes, like it's a little recording. I like it. It's cute.
I like it because the brushwork, well, the pencil work that you see on these devices, the last time you really see that type of detailing is usually in the 80s sci-fi, and it's kind of nice to see again.
Yeah. So they go into a couple of things, but basically the gist of it is that the Exodius happens. Brief history is that yeah, the Star League War happened. There's
Basically, Star League embraced their inner crayon eating madness, took a bunch of meth,
yes,
and
the
then They watched War Games, the part where the computer whopper says an interesting game, the only winning move is not to play. They said, "We'll prove you fucking wrong," and they unleash all the nukes. Basically, humanity collectively has a negative 1,000 IQ gigabrain moment, collectively poops their pants, and nukes itself. And
This
Kerensky,
is
whose
this is
IQ
slightly
was
before
high
that.
enough to just barely have an IQ above room temperature, said, "This is mentally fucking retarded."
So
So he leaves
there's actually,
because fuck this,
yes,
literally fuck this gay Earth.
I was considering bringing up the liberation of campaign for Kerensky to show you, but that's a lot of SLDF bullshit. And honestly, if you're gonna, I just say watch the text video. It's a pretty good summary of the entire campaign.
Honestly, watch
Uh,
them in general because they're going to be way more detailed and elaborate than us, especially since the only
well,
person who knows the setting here is Tech, and I'm a bumbo.
yes. So to give you an idea, though, basic story short, Star League had their civil war where Amaris, Stefan Amaris,
Yes, the Gog Van Dyer. This setting's Gog Van Dyer murders a
yeah,
small child, murders a child king.
murders a 21-year-old and takes over.
Murders a man during his party, and then says, "I am the king now."
I'm the king now, and then institutes a reign of terror to ensure that, and then
And then
Kerensky kind of
the
takes him out.
entire air, everyone basically told him, "You're fucking not."
Yes.
And then rather than get rid of him first, goes full crayon eating and says, "No, we are. No, we are." And then it doesn't stop exploding.
Yeah. There's bits out of like the diaries of various characters that are important to the lore here that are kind of interspaced in. Truscott's actually quite important.
Yep, there's the Ameriscoot, right there. Fall of the Star League.
Fall of the Star League is where we get important here. So after Terra is liberated by Kerensky, everybody's wondering who's the next Star Lord, basically. Who's the next head of Star League?
Peter Quaid.
Well, Peter Quaid, unfortunately, Peter Quaid and his entire family were fucking killed by Amaris. So, you know.
No. Peter Quaid was killed by a purple space tyrant snapping his fingers.
Oh, no. No, not you, Thanos. Not you, too.
I am inevitable.
Thanos is just a bunch of warships nuking the inner sphere back to techno-barbarism. You chose this future.
This is the future you chose.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that's hilarious and probably better alien thing that they could have done than what they actually did.
Well, yeah. Now,
They didn't get sued to death by Marvel, but still.
Yes. So moving on. So the successors start to meet, and
also
they basically
eat
tell Kerensky to
crayons
fuck
and
off.
realize,
Yes. Because they're worried that Kerensky's going to try to basically become the next Caesar. That he's going to use the SLDF to basically take over and bring them back into the line. Now, at this point, the SLDF is erect, but it's still the largest single military force in humanity.
Well, yeah, because it was supposed to be the United Army. This would be like, to put this in simpler to put it in realism terms. This would be like if the United States Army got its shit rocked after destroying the state of Colorado. But because of that, it's still kind of the strongest guys there.
It's
and then the other National Guards just kind of eat crayons until yeah, we're gonna take you on.
You know what I would say this is better akin to is the fucking insanity that's the collapse of the Soviet Union. That's kind of what happened.
That's actually probably where they
everybody
based it
has except everybody has nukes. This is actually before the collapse of the Soviet Union. It's actually based off the Daidochi Wars, but you know, because Kerensky basically conducts the fastest and largest campaigns ever known to mankind, and then fucks off, basically, with the bulk of the good stuff, and then nobody knows where the fuck he is.
You know, you mentioned everyone has nukes. Remember, horrifically, I think there's a few dozen tactical nukes and smaller nukes that went missing when the Soviets fell.
Yeah, most of those are probably
locked somewhere in a silo that no one knows where it is.
No one knows about. There's probably a couple that ended up being bought by other state actors just to have a spare, untraceable nuke just in case.
I'm just envisioning some goat herder in Kazakhstan just hanging out with the nuclear device in his living room.
I mean, there was like one guy that had a fucking panther in his basement in Germany. I mean,
Well, no,
that's
no,
not.
but he didn't know what it was. It's a cool set piece.
It's a cool thing, and if I put my meat on it, it cooks it for me. And everybody's just like, oh no.
Why is my skin slowing off and I'm vomiting blood? Oh well.
Oh, that's just a normal day in Kazakhstan.
Our water
We're
supply
really-
makes me do that every day anyway.
We are now banned in Kazakhstan.
Hey, it's not our fault. It's the Soviets' fault. I'm not
it's like
blaming the
Borat.
Kazakhs for doing it. I'm blaming Stalin and the Soviets.
Actually, wasn't Borat banned in Kazakhstan for like
It was.
a year before they realized it was a joke?
Yeah.
I love it. It's really funny.
I
because
could
in
have used any other nation. I could even use like Tanutuva if it existed, but
Yeah, okay, I know this is a tangent. One of the actual government guys that was involved in the whole discussion with Borat has a cameo in Borat 2. He's the guy that orders Borat to go back to the United States.
I love that.
It's great. He got Sacha Baron Cohen reached out to him and asked if he wanted to be in the movie, I think, and he of course said yes, because it's like it actually increased Kazaki tourism by
yeah, because people were interested about this weird because
this.
Kazakhstan it has some nice like amazing venues like if you really like
It does.
steps. But
Yeah,
you don't
it's
think
a
of
beautiful
going
country.
there.
It's a beautiful country.
You don't think of
honestly.
going there.
Yeah.
Not usually. There's all these other places, but I mean, if you want an interesting place to go to Kazakhstan or any other Central Asian area.
There's a few that I wouldn't go to right now. Just saying.
Oh yeah.
Like Lord Miles found out, that fucking retard. Holy shit. Oh, what? He also might have gotten his translator killed.
Yeah, he probably did.
So,
but Kazakhstan's not one of them. So we might have made a bit of a joke, but that's just more because it's former Soviet stuff. Weird nuclear devices are found all the time randomly by people.
Remember that one that was in a lighthouse?
Yeah. Remember when a bunch of, I think this one took place in Dagestan, like not somewhere in the Caucasus.
Like, yeah.
They found like a semi-disassembled reactor with spent fuel rods in it.
Oh yeah, that was in Chechnya, I think.
Yeah, and what happened was they didn't know what it was. They just it was cold and they were out of firewood, so they hung out there because,
Yeah, I remember this.
Like I'm just highlighting that's why we made that joke.
The absolutely horrified place when the nuclear experts from the UN investigation teams find that, like, I would have paid money because those guys must have just been like, oh.
One of them died. One of them straight up died.
Yeah.
But they just found like it was like a partially not even working, but like open,
it was just disassembled,
small nuclear reactor.
Like they're just like, well, we got a battery here, and we don't know what's inside the battery.
And we don't have to start a fire because it's warm here.
It's warm here now. That's great.
Why are my hands hurting?
Why
do I taste iron?
Why am I delusional? Take me to the infirmary. Okay, back to
But I'm sorry, it's just okay, back to the far more non-intelligent people of the Star League.
Back to the people barely more intelligent than your average Soviet conscript.
I honestly think that even 40k, they're slightly smarter. Not really.
Not really. No, they're dumber in 40k. Like, come the fuck on.
I don't know. I mean, repeatedly nuking yourself into the Stone Age.
Humanity's done that in 40k on the regular too.
Yeah, but the main structure is still there. A planet, yeah, but
anyway, so basically the plan that Kerensky had is he's going to take the SLDF and he's just going to put it over there.
Because they clearly don't want me here, and on top of that, I really don't want to have tens of millions to billions dying again.
Yeah, so there's sort of a thing that happens. There's a rift within an SLDF because there's groups of the SLDF that want to stay behind, to either become mercenaries because they can't leave their families behind, or because they think that, like,
It's a
you know,
suicide mission to leave
this,
colonized and tracked space.
yeah, it's just they're like, this is
You're
crazy.
literally going to send us to die. We don't have any star maps, any details on habitable
Oh, they
worlds.
do have star maps. They just don't have any idea of if there's any habitable
No
worlds.
expeditions, no surveys, no atmospheric readings of anything. The only thing we have are star maps, and if we're lucky, you know how they detect exoplanets by the
Gravitational fluctuations in the star's orbit, yes.
that's all they got. That's
Now,
all they got.
now that said, what they've been doing here is there's a group of them that stays behind
Fateful St. Valentine's Day.
with Jacob Blake, and then there's another that we're not gonna wait. Fateful St. Valentine's Day. Where the hell were you seeing that?
Life
Oh
in the
yes,
Terran hegemony, yeah.
oh yes. This is the talking about the getting to the plan, because he had this idea and he got everybody to talk to each other. Now Comstar is being founded and he leaves a bunch of people behind with Comstar. Basically, the ones that want to stay part of the SLDF but don't want to leave, they just join up with Comstar because Comstar is the last actual governmental authority of the Star League left.
Mainly
And they're
because
also telecom
its
wizards.
constituent provinces decided to go full lead paint chip eating crazy.
Yeah, basically it's the only thing keeping humanity from actually going into a dark age, because it's the FTL communication guys.
I'm not gonna lie, I think Comstar should have just let them.
They kind of were planning on that.
They should have.
They were kind of like just playing the long game, like they're just gonna kill each other eventually. We just have to wait.
Nah, just let them
But
go full Dark Age. Screw them.
it's funny because like Comstar would like actually disappear people that were trying to rediscover technology and everything.
No, no,
Uh,
no, no. Reject humanity. Return to monkey.
that's what they wanted everyone else to do, and then they'd come out as their little techno wizards and establish a nuclear society according to the word of Blake.
Well, no. What they should then do is then destroy their own technology and embrace the monkey.
That's what the jihad was. um, uh,
I just
anyway,
love how they're just staring and just kind of resigned annoyance as everything's getting nuked around them by the other crayon-eating imbeciles.
they're actually prompting the nukenings.
Oh, good.
They're encouraging it.
So anyway, they leave.
Comstar are dicks. Anyway, right. So they're jumping out. The fleet is enormous. There's like 2 million people being taken out of the sphere. That's just SLDF personnel. There's like also like 4 to 6 million civilians of like every stripe that are interested in tagging along.
Mainly
That they
because fuck this collapsing
fuck
nightmare.
this shit. I'm out. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame them.
So they load up with for months. They start hitting at rally points. They collect supplies. They hit it. They all assemble at a certain point, and then the go order is given, and they start jumping away. The fleet continues on for months upon months upon months. There's nothing there.
Yep.
Everyone's getting pissed the
Deep
fuck
periphery
off.
for months. Yep. The prince. I like that they're just using Prince Eugen, which that's just one of the more noted German cruisers. That's why it got
Yes.
put there.
Well, she's a Texas class battle cruiser, so.
Well, to give you actually the slight nod to the fact that the Prinz Eugen was given to the U.S. as a war prize after
Yes,
World
it
War
is.
II,
It
and
is
its
a
sole
slight nod.
purpose was to be nuked during the Castle
Yes.
Bravo tests.
Which is funny because the point of warships is to deliver nuclear hellfire upon innocent planets.
So its sole purpose was to see what happens when a ship gets hit with a thermonuclear device.
Answer: the ship's pretty much intact. Just everybody on board's going to die of radiation poisoning.
Also, the water might instantly vaporize, so it might immediately get sunk under.
It might get steam burned. Yes, everybody on board might get steam burned to death. Which also a terrible way to die, but faster than the radiation poisoning.
Fun fact: that's actually how 2 of the 3 operators on the SL-1 died.
Yep.
SL-1 being the first micro reactor. It was supposed to be a portable one for Antarctic exploration and base camps.
Yep. God, I love nuclear accidents.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, Starlink itself is a nuclear accident.
Yeah.
It's a giant one.
So basically, there's then a mutiny.
I love how there's this dead man with a sword in space. What?
Because he got fucking executed. He was shot in the back of the head and chucked out the airlock.
Just the sword thing, though. Like, it boggles the noggle.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he has a combat knife from wherever he was from.
That's not a combat knife.
Well,
It's
I
too
mean,
long for one.
depending on your planet,
No, that has a full-on pommel. There's a cross guard. That's supposed to be like an arming sword, but it's too small.
it's like a dagger of some kind. Anyway,
Too short,
uh,
too long for a dagger.
maybe he's a Highlander. I don't fucking care. Like,
I,
let's just keep moving.
I think this was an art accident.
This might have been an art accident. I wouldn't be surprised.
Maybe
Uh,
him dying in space was an accident.
I mean, it kind of was. So basically, the Prinz Eugen mutiny happens, and well, the Eugen basically is fed the fuck up with jumping. Everybody on board is like, this is fucking dumb. We're turning back.
It's been years and there's literally nothing. We've charted a dozen different star systems that had potential, and the planets that we thought were livable were like fucking Venus or Mars or Mercury,
We're fucking
or had
done.
something else wrong with it, like glass
Now,
storms.
like, and here's the thing too. Like, if they wanted to fall out, they could have just
Left.
pretended to miss jump.
Yeah,
Basically,
just give a scream like the jets are, the jump's gone wrong,
yeah,
jump's gone.
jump failure, or whatever, and then just fall away. Like, it would have been tragic, but the fleet would have continued on without him. Or if they were just a small ship, they could have just gone missing and nobody would have noticed. But this is like a massive battle cruiser, and it was telling everybody else in the fleet, "Join us, let's go back." So of course,
what I'm trying to say is that Kerensky did not remove all crayon eaters from. He can't. Humanity in this setting are a bunch of crayon eaters.
yes.
And
So
I don't mean good crayon. I mean like they take their
now
crayons with lead paint chips.
now it gets a little bit weirder because his youngest son is involved in the mutiny indirectly. He kind of was encouraging some of these officers to bring their complaints to his dad. They then decided to mutiny. So he was put on the execution squads because he basically, every officer above the rank of captain is deemed guilty of mutiny and thus sentenced to death.
I mean that's pretty fair because a captain, when it comes to naval ranking,
Yeah,
that's the commander of a vessel.
or very important, basically.
Commander
Like
of a vessel or the highest ranks of bridge crew.
yes.
Like your
So
XO and your TO.
yeah, XOTOs, communications officers,
TOs,
people
yep.
on other warships that are
Probably
doing
the
this.
chief, because there's always the chief seaman.
Chief seaman, chief engineer, like all these guys get fucking
So I
like
mean, honestly, that's pretty fair given that
yeah,
the
Andrei
enlisted and most
Kerensky.
officers are fine.
Yeah, Andrei Kerensky has to execute all of them personally, as part of the punishment for encouraging the mutiny.
You have to kill your friends.
Yeah, like you fucking caused this, you have to deal with it. Well, he wasn't alone with it, but he was part of his firing squad.
He
Uh,
also tasked a simple army major to capture the Prince Eugen.
That is not just a simple army major. That is Elizabeth Hazen, the founder of Clan Jade Falcon, and a fucking crazy bitch.
Okay.
She's one of the guys. Remember, I mentioned, I think, that like there was the Scottish Highlander guys that got nuked on Terra multiple times and refused to die.
Okay, but there's thousands of them. Major only commands like 300.
She's one of the last ones, and she's leading one of the last squads of the Black Watch, which is like the Royal Guard. Like we're talking, like DevGuru meets Spetsnaz meets whatever that fucking weird what's that, the Unit 777 of the Korean military.
I mean,
Those guys.
you're saying words, but I'm just envisioning vent
Unit
a part
7
of your ship and then just start pepper balling everyone so it shreds their
That's kind of what they
Atmo
did.
suits.
That's kind of what they did. They then captured everybody and that they could. Yeah.
I mean, like if I'm gonna just feed a boarding party, I would just be like, okay, cutting Atmo here, and then just going to flechette bouncy ball through their suits so that they just suffocate.
That's why they had to hit it fast. It's they don't go into details because it's like it's.
She's just that good. Although at least she has the reason of being that good.
Well, let's also note that the strike force lost out of 160, they lost 38 killed in action, 56 wounded.
That's, I
To
mean,
secure the
given that
ship.
this is a space battle cruiser, that's usually, isn't that a crew of like a couple thousand?
It's probably like 1,000, 2,000. But I mean, you have to remember that probably not a lot of all of the enlisted were on board, so they had to fight their way to the officers and
I mean, there's
basically.
also probably loyal crewmen too, so fair
Yeah,
enough.
fair enough.
I'm kind of pointing out that like,
That sounds about right for having to board a mutinous ship under fire.
yeah, I was just pointing out that it's not as simple as just being that good.
But they are actually that good. Is kind of the thing. Just as a note, they are really fucking good. The Blackwatch. The thing that they do is then what happens is that Kerensky basically after the executions, after the rebellion has basically been stood out, he has basically probably the best thing that he can do is he basically goes on the fleet and he basically says, "Okay, I know this has been a fucking bitch. I know this has been awful, but here's the deal. Here's what I'm thinking. Return to the inner sphere is impossible for us. Our heritage and our convictions are different from those we left behind. The greed of the five great houses and the council lords is a disease that can only be burned away by the passing of decades, even centuries. And although the fighting may seem to slow or even cease, it will erupt again as long as there are powerful men to covet one another's wealth. We shall live apart, conserving all the good of Star League and ridding ourselves of the bad, so that when we return, and we shall return, our shining moral character will be as much as our shield as our battle mechs and our fighters."
I wonder how fast he's rotating in his space grave when his son ruined
Oh,
everything.
you have no fucking clue.
Do you think that's what they power Do you think that's what they power like entire planets with? Just
Yeah,
Alexander Kerensky rotating
Strelomexi
at
just
like
is Alexander Kerensky rotating at like near light speeds in his grave. Just like, what the fuck did you do? So basically, on top of that, he also enforces a more strict regime because at this point, like, we can't afford another mutiny. We don't have the supplies to deal with it.
and the hidden
Uh,
hope doctrine.
Basically, the hidden hope doctrine is his philosophy, and it becomes sort of a major thing among the clans. Is that we're going to return someday?
Oh no, they've been infested with. This isn't Alexander Kerensky. This is Dugout Doug.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh god.
He had to pull a MacArthur to keep people from fucking murdering each other.
No, no, no. What you failed to realize is he was MacArthur all along.
Oh no.
Why do you think they failed?
Actually, wait, no, because MacArthur was an incompetent jerk. Like, MacArthur basically lucked into the one good army operation he ever fucking did, which was Ichion. He lucked out on that, and it wasn't even his idea.
Are you sure you're not confusing him with Fred and all?
No, Dugout Doug was an absolutely terrible general in terms of, like, he didn't have a fucking creative bone in his body. Man had command presence, but he was an absolute idiot.
Well, I could have told you that mainly because, hey, what type of smart person gets B-17s as a part of the Filipino Air Force?
Not only that, but when he hears
Rather
about the
than the
Japanese
A-20
attacks,
Bostons or something lighter that would be more flexible for them
also not only on top of that,
and simpler to
Bataan
repair.
holding out for decades, maybe on a peninsula we can hold indefinitely. Psh, no, we're gonna try to hold the major city instead. And we're going to move all the supplies that the Navy has planned to put here so that they can come and rescue us. And we're going to put them in the city. Oh no, the city fell to the Japanese.
Maybe I should have spent some of that money instead of getting B-17s to get proper shoes for the Filipino army to wear.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding for those listening in. I know we're kind of going off tangent.
Just fuck MacArthur. Just really just fuck MacArthur. You have no idea how
to give
mad
you an idea,
I was.
MacArthur could viably be like if you took his character and what he does in real life and put it into BattleTech, he would actually fit as a House and Diner general perfectly.
He basically is one. He would refer to himself in the third fucking person sometimes.
And that's the best part.
So, okay, like I was so fucking mad when the idea of like an American hero statue to like MacArthur was proposed. I'm like, MacArthur did fucking nothing. MacArthur was the opposite. MacArthur was totally willing to like basically
that
like
statue should have been to Audie Murphy. Damn it!
It would have been better for like Audie Murphy or I don't know,
or the
like
six dudes who raised the flag at Iwo Jima because like four of them had horrible lives.
What about Stilwell, the guy he left on the
Vinegar
Philippines
Joe?
to fight? Yeah.
No, Vinegar Joe
Stillwell
is in China.
was Stillwell in China. Who's the guy that was left on?
I don't know who.
Uh,
I forget, but I remember he
I forget the
actually.
name.
The thing
Yeah,
was, he actually was the guy who did a lot of the panic fix work.
yeah, he's the guy that fixed
And
all of
he's the one
MacArthur's
that
fuck
actually
ups.
allowed Corregidor to hold out. Like, I think it was the Japanese timetables didn't expect it to last like the extra 50 days it did.
Yeah, basically,
Like,
fuck
if
MacArthur.
MacArthur died, because he almost died in the Philippines due to like a truck
It would have been
accident.
so much better if he fucking died. Like, there would have been somebody actually competent put in
There
charge of the
was
defense of
another
the
really
Philippines.
fun. There's a very fun what if. I'm sorry we're going off track, guys, but one of my favorite what ifs is actually what if Dwight was sent to the Philippines instead of Doug.
Yeah, Eisenhower is an excellent organizer and also an excellent people pleaser. He could get along with basically anybody that you needed to for at least a certain sort amount of time and keep his temper.
Yep,
That's part of the
and in
reason why
this
he was
case,
overall commander.
he listened to that guy, the guy who got captured at Bataan.
Yeah.
He listened to him, and he worked with Manuel Quezon quite extensively in that
Oh,
what if.
also the other thing that MacArthur did is instead
Ignore the
of like,
Filipino politicians that were slowly being elected and managing the state, because he did that too.
oh no, this is a better one, right? So rather than, because the Corregidor plan is fucked, so like the Bataan plan is fucked, saying, well, okay, we're splitting up into guerrilla units, we're just falling back into the countryside. He said, no, no, keep coming, keep in organized units and try to march to march to Bataan, not to the Filipinos.
To the
Guess what?
Filipinos who don't have shoes and they have like one clip of Garand ammo and that's it.
They don't even have Gurons. They have fucking Springfields. They
Springfield,
have
they had like
Craigs.
they had Springfields and Craigs and like maybe a clip or two of ammo each.
Yeah, like,
Because Dugout Doug wanted his B-17 bombers, damn it.
yeah. Now, so basically, he ends up getting all the supplies that they would be using that would they be
To
using
the
not only to get
Japanese.
captured, to the Japanese, the troops that are
Which is why
stranded
their
on the other side of
timetables that's why their timetables weren't damaged even though that other guy held out longer than they predicted.
yeah, and he gave no instruction to any of the people who might be trapped on the other side of the fallback line.
Well, yeah, everyone knows exactly what MacArthur thinks because MacArthur knows that he's correct, and if they listen to MacArthur, then they'll know what MacArthur
Oh my
wants.
god.
And that's
Tell me
exactly
about
how he'd
robots.
say.
Talk about my robots, you fucks.
Hey there. I
Hello,
actually made
Biggy.
a joke in the about this episode where you'd come in. Perfect.
You actually came in at a perfect time. We're not too far into the book either. We're only on page 17. We're just getting distracted by talking about General MacArthur.
Yeah, shut up about World War II and start talking about something cooler.
Okay, so Alexander Kerensky eventually gets landfall.
Yes, basically he stumbles around on basically a miracle.
A
It's
planet
been like
that isn't dog shit.
not just one planet that isn't dog
5
shit.
planets.
5 planets that are relatively close. They're all within 5 different star systems that are relatively close to each other. That are all, and I do mean all, habitable. They're not amazing, but they're all habitable, and they're all relatively, nice in terms of like you could pick them.
They were hot
fucking
Earths.
worse.
They were warm Marses and cool Venuses. So not awful.
Not awful. I mean, you can live on them. You can grow crops on them.
Ideally, you'd want to terraform them a bit, but still.
But still, like the atmospheres are all
you just
breathable.
Need to wear you either need to wear a brave face mask or none at all.
Yeah, yeah, you might just need supplementary oxygen once in a while.
I mean, like 3 months
anything.
of the year, it's so cold that you'll die instantly if you don't wear environmental protection. But
But hey.
But 9 months of the year, you just have to wear a nice jacket, and it still grows cold crops fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's actually pretty great if you like. If you don't mind.
If you
snow.
like lingonberries and fish.
Yeah. If you're just Norwegian, it's perfect.
Or like Ethiopian, it's perfect because there's a couple hot ones too.
Oh yeah. Or if you're Inuit, there's probably a perfect world here. You're just like, oh my god, this is just like home.
They became Arcadia, Babylon, Sursti, Dagda, and Eden.
Yes.
Eden being the one that actually was, well,
the closest to, yeah. And of course, I love some of the comments here. Fresh air and sunlight. I don't care what the scientists say about the bacteria or the bugs or whatever. I would rather die today under an open sky than live a full life cramped in that metal can. I had to go back to the Michaels yesterday. The stench is unbearable. I don't know how the hell we survived in that thing. No, I know why they had to keep repairing the atmosphere recyclers.
And then
Still,
he
this is like
instantly dies from an alien disease.
this is amazing, by the way. With the next one. Still, this is like no world I've ever seen. Reports say we lost 30 people over the last week because they went out on their own. I saw one of the bodies. It was completely unidentifiable. They said insects did it. Maybe it's one of those things that can burrow straight through rock and ferrocrete, as it turns out.
You know, I know it's slightly off topic, but there's this great 80s aliens game where you play the colonial
Yeah.
marines. There is an animal like that, only it's like a mole. And
Yeah.
like they swarm like every 50 years and basically eat everything on the planet.
Okay, so
Because,
so
it's like cicadas, but way worse.
basically the science teams have figured out how to counteract like the more dangerous animals with like genetically engineered organisms with like bacterial cures
Two of the
and
world's held
vaccines.
marginally inhabitable ecosystems, while the other three were home to various microorganisms that were extremely damaging to the human body.
Yes, they were working on fixing that basically, but like I mean any port in a storm at this point.
And this
They're
is
all
the
pretty
first planet that isn't like a gas giant or a Pluto or a
or
burning
like
ball.
or like oh it's
An
a
asteroid
habitable
field.
atmosphere or like it's a habitable atmosphere if there's no fucking water.
Or alternatively, my favorite. Did you know there's planets that have glass storms because of the massive amount of silicon?
Oh my god,
So
that
it's like,
sounds
oh yeah, it's there's some like liquid, but oh there's a storm. Watches as the shards of glass and razor sharp silicon shred through everything.
just
I'm
like
just
oh
imagining.
There's a gas giant that
Like-
has that, by the way, and in that one
I'm just
the
imagining
winds go at like 2,000 miles an hour.
I think Biggy
I'm
wants to
just
speak.
imagining some dumbass kid going out and like sticking his tongue out to catch raindrops, and then it's just a giant shard of glass stabs through his fucking
I'm just
tongue.
I'm imagining like you know that the guy peeling his own face off, like it's like that, but like a little kid.
It's like no, it's like no, Timmy, don't. We haven't figured out the planet's environment yet. That's fine.
But yes, so the next thing that happens is that they need to decide what the fuck to do because a third of the people that they took with them are technically still in the military.
Yeah.
You can't support that. Basically, you can't just have a bunch of soldiers laying around doing nothing when there's nobody to fight.
Well, there's also the problem that keeping them at arms, those are bodies needed to provide other services.
Also, a lot of these people are PTSD-ridden wrecks.
Yeah.
Because remember, they just fought an incredibly brutal civil war.
In
Mainly
which
because
civilians
some
were
guy
blowing
murdered
themselves up.
Yep.
Yeah.
In the glory of the fat man. All
Yep.
hail the all-you-can-eat golden corral buffet.
Yep. So, Nikki Kerensky has a suggestion, which is we're going to do incredibly strict testing on these guys. Basically, we want only the best of the best of the best to remain as any sort of military or police force. Everybody else gets rotated out. Doesn't matter if you want to stay. Doesn't matter if you have any other like potentially useful skills. If you can't hack it as a combatant, you're just not going to be able to be staying in.
We call that demobilization, Nikki, but okay.
Yes. Basically, he was proposing demobilization on top of incredibly strict tech.
But a dumb version of demobilization.
Well, at this point, they're not expecting to like have to do much more than basic police actions. So you know.
Yeah, I'm just saying that like the best of the.
I mean, they've got 2 million troops to play with.
You say that, but on the other, like, and the assumption is you have to disbar them because they're still gonna. Okay.
Like that's the thing, right? You've got 2 million men to play around with for potential.
I'm just saying it's a little weird that they didn't try demobilizing, and then when they refused, then do that.
Well, they did, and then they kind of refused because they didn't want to rotate out because a lot of these people were like, and also remember, less than half of the people that were in there actually participated in the tests, as they mentioned. The rest of them that have like actually useful non-combatant skills are just told, nope, you're out of the military. Like we need you here.
It's a miracle they didn't just army revolt.
Well, you have to remember that Alexander Kerensky to a lot of these people is like the second coming of Jesus.
Fair enough. I'm
They
just
will follow.
highlighting.
They will follow him into hell and back. If he says, "I need you to do this," they're gonna do that.
It's not like he was. It's not like he was a war hero that basically stopped a hellish war.
He didn't stop a hellish war, though. He failed.
No, he did, because he ended it before it got even worse.
No, he didn't, because then they all nuked each other.
That was later. That's why they all left before that
I
could
think
happen.
you're buying Clanner hype. No, he failed at everything he did. If you think about it,
I'm not gonna let you hear and
the only
slander
thing
the good name of
he
Kerensky.
he succeeded in was not having his entire army collapse, which admittedly that's impressive.
So they also start searching out. Basically, and here's the other thing that he does. He demobilizes a lot of the military equipment.
Forcibly, because they're like, I refuse to refuse gun.
Some of them do. But a lot of them are actually like, okay, like, we'll finish this out. But the next thing that he does is they basically build these gigantic caches on these planets of their old military equipment, just in case. Like, in case we have to salvage it later, we don't want to destroy all of it immediately because that would just be a waste.
Oh, yeah, especially since you don't have the infrastructure to rebuild it all.
Yeah, so we'll just keep it in storage in these giant things known as Brian caches. And then essentially the military was still basically used as a force to help grow the colonies and assemble things
and find
and explore
areas.
Yes, and they find what basically is like a miracle, which is that there's a bunch of good worlds that are just beyond the Pentagon worlds, in a cluster, which becomes known as the Kerensky cluster, obviously, because he's basically brought them to what they want. Now, once they landed, things started to go downhill because now that everybody was demobilizing everything, a lot of the old tensions from Star League started to come back in.
Because of course they would. I mean, they only saw what fucking okay. I think I'm honestly gonna be honest. I think honestly Kerensky should have just gave everyone anthrax. I think humanity in this setting is fucked. Let the Dolphins take over.
It's cultural differences lead to tensions, lead to other things, like certain people are more likely to be in the military, certain people aren't. All these other, blah, 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 blah.
Translation. We didn't learn a damn thing.
Basically, yes. So
but let the Dolphins win.
So then a bunch of fucking Capellans decide to revolt because they're just sick of this shit. The SLDF basically says, okay, we have to set down and put down a rebellion of PTSD-ridden assholes.
They actually looted Brian Cash, too.
Yes, they did. So they had actual military equipment because, well, it gets worse.
And they did it when Kerensky was mourning his dead Wow.
Yeah, Capellans are assholes, man. Because remember, all Kerensky wanted was let's just live in peace, please. Please, for the love of God, please don't. And so he has to send his best general in to try to quell the revolt, which is de Chevalier, who was his second in command through the entire Civil War. And de Chevalier gets fucking got.
Amazing. Best of the best gets owned by a bunch of angry Chinamen with literal fucking old weapons.
Also, well, they have modern weapons in the Brian caches.
I know. I'm just highlighting that best of the best thing sure as fuck didn't seem to work.
They pulled a massive ass ambush off on him, which, again, maybe Chevalier was distracted. Maybe whatever else.
Maybe it's because he's old.
It's probably because he's old. And remember Hazen from earlier?
Yeah?
Hazen had a thing for the Chevalier. Like, they were kind of a thing for a long time. Okay, so when he died, she went absolutely apeshit after ejecting from her stricken mech, seeing him getting blown the fuck up, picks up a sword from the ground and just starts executing every Capellan she can find.
If I remember correctly, wasn't this isn't this the eventual founder of Jade Falcon, if I remember correctly?
Yes.
Don't worry, viewers. There's now a second person knowledgeable, so I'm not.
And she's also she's also hallucinating about her dead Falcon talking to her through all of this. I want to note that.
No. You want to say this, but I need. Why did Alexander Kerensky not just say I can't fix this and inject everyone, including himself, with anthrax again?
Who knows?
Because mystery.
I keep forgetting just
And
how much contempt I have for the humans in Battletech.
Adam, we
Yeah.
need a setting so we can sell these models.
It's just the backstory elements like that, where it's like,
The information about the mechs themselves is pretty fun, honestly. I love
We could
some
be
of it.
sitting here. Listen, we could be doing the same with 40K lore, Adam. Like, there's like so many things that could have happened, but in the end, you have to understand this will all eventually lead to elementals, so it's worth it in the end.
Uh,
oh yeah, the mobile infantry ripoffs. Sorry, it took me a bit to remember that.
yeah, so basically he declares martial law.
Because he should.
Everything starts to go to fucking hell because they basically end up destroying the settlement, trying to put down the rebellion, which then fuels the fires of everyone else. And then Kerensky, a Russian, has to flee basically Afghanistan.
Or
This was written
I'm
in
sorry. What he
89.
should have done was he should have done what El Supremo did in Paraguay.
Oh my god, forced interracial marriages?
He should have.
Oh my god.
I honestly
Okay, so
think. I honestly think this is making Paraguay look intelligent, and
okay,
Paraguay was the North Korea of the 19th century.
okay, for those of you who don't know, I do need to go on a tangent because I
I
fucking
don't.
love 19th century Paraguay because it's basically the most crazy ass nation that still somehow survived of all time and has a fun side tangent with one of the least memorable US presidents of all time. Essentially, to give an idea, there's three absolutely kind of bugfuck dictators. The first of which basically tries to abolish the class system entirely by having interracial marriages because it was basically a caste system based around how white you were, because this was a Spanish colony. There's still remnants of that to this day in a lot of Spanish holdings, where a lot of the richer, older families are very, very pale.
Also, a lot
And
of the revolts involved tensions between the different classes because of that.
yes,
Because also language was a common element too.
yes. So it gets
Also, don't mind me, viewers. I'm just eating some beef stew. I still have a
yes.
little
So
bit left over.
yeah, so he orders interracial marriages until the population homogenizes. Like you can't marry within your social class anymore, basically, because that's the tool of the oppression of the Spanish and also of the church. He kind of has some fun with dicking with the church for a little while. He then dies. His successor is this really fat dude who actually does a decent job despite being corrupt as fuck. Kind of builds up the country's infrastructure,
Mainly because
outlaws
the
slavery.
embezzlement he reinvested into the country.
Yeah, he's a bit crazy because he builds monuments to himself or like names a bunch of shit after himself. It's like the post-Soviet dictators, like Turkmenbashi, like that guy, where it's like, oh, the I awarded myself the leader of all ethnic Turkmenbashi. Now this guy's son is actually fucking crazy. He orders Paraguay to build an army. Paraguay is a tiny power.
Build me an army worthy of Mordor.
Basically, yes. Paraguay is a very tiny nation. He thinks that the reason why Paraguay is a tiny nation is because it doesn't have sea access. It must have access to the sea. Also, if you are caught wearing a hat and you do not take it off in front of El Presidente, you are fucking executed. If you try to enter the country, you are killed. If you try to leave the country, you are also killed. Um, there's an incident with an American boat that's carrying the new ambassador to Paraguay where they fucking shoot at it and then he has to turn around and leave like, well, I guess we're not going back here for a little while. He then declares war on everyone around him, which is Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay,
And
all at
Bolivia.
the same and Bolivia,
What?
all at the same time.
Yeah?
This is basically like
Because he
the
genuinely
equivalent.
believed he'd win.
Yes, and he fights them all at once, all at the same time. A full 20% of the country's population dies in this war, and all but 10% of the men in the country die. This is partially because there's like reciprocity campaigns taken out by the various members of the Triple Alliance upon Paraguay during the war, where they just
Because
execute
the
entire
Paraguayans
villages.
would do it too.
Yes,
And they
because he
started
basically.
it.
Yes, this crazy dictator man orders basically ethnic cleansing operations in the 19th century. He's finally dead after this. He actually dies in a battle. The Catholic Church gives a special dispensation to the Paraguayan men to allow for multiple marriages because there's so many fucking widows.
Wow, this
And
sounds
also,
like one of my. This sounds like just like one of my Japanese hentais.
well, it's also horrible because there's like barely any men that are left to actually repopulate. It's kind of awful for everyone involved, which means that like the poverty and the agricultural output of the country drops dramatically.
Yeah. Paraguay was the
Uh,
poorest nation in South America for a good 2 generations after what that asshole
yes.
pulled off.
And
That's saying a
And
lot
it-
because Uruguay before then was the poorest because it literally
Yeah.
only made its money on agriculture.
yeah,
And I thought Paraguay was just the name of a color.
and now it gets even kind of worse. So they had a bunch of territory that they were claiming, which is sort of what the war was fought over. And there's a lot of disputed territory that they were claiming and other people were claiming that gets stripped away to them. So they're basically a tiny little nation. Now, the person that they bring in for arbitration is none other than President Rutherford B. Hayes.
Well, who you only know because he did the smoke room dirty deal. Like that's the only thing
Yes.
he's known for that got him elected. Because technically, Samuel Tilden won.
Yes. He's
if you
also
go by
the guy that
popular vote, Tilden won. And in terms of electoral colleges, it could have gone either way.
Yeah. Also, Hayes is also infamous for ending Reconstruction.
That was the agreement he made with the people
Yes.
in the smoky rooms to win the spot.
Which, you
Basically,
know, as we all know,
we'll let
had
Tilden win, but only if Reconstruction programs end.
and so we can oppress black people officially again. You know.
Mhm.
Great deal there, Hayes. So Hayes is brought to Paraguay, by the way, on a riverboat. If I remember correctly.
Not
if
shot
you
at
ever
this
just-
Remember when we were
though.
talking about Battletech?
Yeah, just let me finish it. So he looks at the map, and there's the disputes over territory, and he looks at a small bit of Paraguay, and says, "No, this should belong to Paraguay. It would fit within the borders of like the rivers and everything. Like this should be Paraguayan land. It makes sense." And he thus becomes instantly a national hero of Paraguay, to the point where they name that section of the country after him.
It's not even that big either.
It's not. It's really small. And it's actually a very common Make-A-Wish thing for kids in Paraguay, if they get the chance, is to go and visit his presidential library. Which is just so sad, but also so funny.
But yeah. In short, what I'm trying to say is that El Supremo was a better leader than Alexander Kerensky.
Yeah.
Oh, actually,
Probably.
since it's been a bit since, hey, this Battletech stream, let's make it even more not about Battletech.
Yeah, we're an hour in and we're only 21 pages into the book because of our tangents on fucking
No,
Kazakhstan.
but I do want to see the glorious comments though. So, there's a lot of people tonight.
Oh, yeah, well, Battletech always gets attention for us.
Andre Kerensky's mech did a Tim Curry before Tim Curry did it. Yeah, war crimes on a stick. Have a nuke as a tourist attraction and generate revenue. Yeah, it'll pay itself. We do not stand for stands. But countries experiencing power vacuums are the most fun to visit. Why do I taste iron? Comstar was also not a cult back then. They weren't wizards. That happened with Konrad Toyama. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they didn't start out as space wizards.
The Imperium is too fueled to
them to do
centralized power and left one idiot control everything. Yeah, Gog Van Dyer. Burned by heat or burned by radiation. Good choices. Hit a ship with a nuke. Power boy. Yeah, he should have just nuked the ship.
Oh, here's an explanation of the guy that with the sword. He was in a ceremonial uniform because of the trial.
But why does he have a knife?
It's probably just like a empty.
Why does he have a sword knife thing?
It's probably an empty scabbard.
Prince
basically.
Eugen Mutiny, one of Kerensky's son was involved in it. Yep. You cannot remove crayon eaters. The infection will always find new hosts.
The Marines will spread.
Elite boarding party armed with nothing but wiffle bats and soapy water guns. You probably give that Blackwatch lady that and she'd still fucking win.
Yeah, she's that fucking crazy. Remember, she charged battle mechs with a katana and somehow won.
Yep, MacArthur would fit in Battletech by his intelligence. Didn't he want to nuke China during the Korean? Yeah, he would.
Yeah.
And the dumb thing is, it would have worked.
Well, and that would have been based as fuck.
But here's the thing.
Worked.
The Soviets would then nuke us back. Yeah.
It would have triggered World War III and
caused the
Soviets
by that point had a couple nukes too.
They had a couple of nukes, and not only that, it would have triggered the Soviet occupation of Europe,
all of
Europe.
Because
there was no way we would have been able to hold them.
There.
There's not enough army there because it's all in Korea. Number one. Number two, the tactical nuclear doctrine really hadn't been developed yet fully.
I've been playing generals lately. Shoes are great. Shoes are upgrade I don't need. So the plan isn't working. Should we try something else? We've succeeded the Biggy roll. Yeah. We roll.
Yeah.
D100 rolled in the background. It got a 99, so he appeared.
Yeah, cute mole swarms and all that. Military training doesn't translate too well into policing without further training. Yeah, tell that to every local PD in my fucking state, where it's like, oh yeah, I served a tour in Afghanistan. I'm obviously mentally stable and totally capable of
From
being
what
a
little
police
I know
officer.
of the setting, that being the last 8 minutes, 1 good plan, it's a miracle. 5 is highly suspicious. Yeah, usually in other settings that would be, but in this case, no, genuinely there.
Battletech is a little generous with its habitable worlds, but I mean, otherwise, like,
Because
there
it's
wouldn't be
small.
fucking anything.
Like the setting is not even like it's about 1,500 light years across.
Yeah, it's not very big.
Half expecting one of the planets to be Hellstar Ramina.
Yeah.
It's a miracle they didn't just revolt and then they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ate my words.
Yeah, the clans also. Yeah, the Exodius fleet didn't know that the Inner War had nuked itself. They kind of had an idea that it was
because
coming.
they didn't think they would be that stupid. I think.
Yeah, they're like, this wouldn't be that stupid. It's just going to be another massive war, and then it's like, oh nope, the nukes came out. Fuck.
bury the military caches for the eventual Republican uprising. Wait, this isn't Hoi Force Spain. Pentagon and Kerensky clusters are borderline habitable.
They are kind of, which is part of the problem. That's part of why the clans fight each other a lot, because, well, it's all borderline habitable worlds.
Why didn't Kerensky kill anyone? The man had something damn near no one else has in the universe, ideals. Yeah. But there's literally nothing here.
Maybe
what could go wrong?
Oh, then we're talking about the interracial marriages and ethnic cleansing. That was 2 different guys. The interracial marriages guy was first, and this is actually the reason why the Paraguay is the only nation in South America that has a language that isn't Spanish or Portuguese that is widely spoken. And actually, it influences Paraguayan Spanish to the point where it's a very distinct dialect of Spanish.
Yep. Basically, Guarani was also because El Supremo, the first guy. That he literally named himself El Supremo, and you were not allowed to use his original name at all.
It's true. Yeah, I forgot about
that. Calling him by his name, I think was an execution or a sentence. If you did,
I don't think it was an execution. I think it was an imprisonment.
You went to prison though. Yeah.
You got imprisoned. I think you were either beaten or sent to prison. One of the two. I mean, he was a weird guy, but honestly, he forged a nation where there was fucking nothing, so I gotta hand it to him for that bit.
MacArthur swears that buttons win Korea or have 7 days to River Rhine or status quo. We reach modern day Paraguay.
Yeah, because Brazil wanted to annex the entirety of Paraguay after the war.
Mainly because they were the ones that got the cleansings the hardest.
Yep.
I'm not even kidding. Yeah.
He really fucking hated the Portuguese.
Because he saw the Brazilians as basically the biggest, because they were still ruled by their emperor at the time. Remember that?
Yes.
So they saw it as the ultimate colonizers.
Yeah.
That was his logic. That's why he did the ethnic cleansings on them first, and that's why Brazil wanted to basically Paraguay delenda est and leave no stones connected and salt the earth.
Yeah. To make things I think we're all caught up here, but
anyway, back to Battletech.
Back to Battletech after
the Great Father
digression.
Calls. So after the Capellans prove why El Supremo was right, and you have to forcibly breed out the Chinese gene.
Oh my god.
It's not my fault. This is what Battletech's teaching me.
We must ethnically mix with all the Chinese until there are no more Asians left. Thus, there will be true peace, and true anime will be achieved.
And just to prevent all the other bullshit from happening, do it to the others too. Just no ethnicity.
We must become the South Park people.
We must become the
Japanese again. Is it the Draconians or is it the Capellans? I always keep forgetting.
The Draconians are the Japanese. The Capellans are a mix of Chinese and Soviet Union.
Oh, okay. You know what I also get confused
you have to get rid of the Chinese. That's just what this is telling me.
I also confuse the symbols of Jade Falcon with the Capellans a lot because they're basically the same. It's sword.
Yes, it's because the sword is a sword that a Capellan officer had, which then Hazen picked up and went on a fucking blood rampage.
Actually, that you could just do a meme where it's like Jade Falcon or Capellans. They're the same image.
They're the same fucking thing. Yeah.
So
It's
anyway, the
kind of
Great
funny. They're
Father calls.
just as brutal. Yeah. So, Kerensky basically dies a depressed, sad old man.
Mainly because
Both of his
he had
friends
no
are dead.
wife.
He fought for, everything he fought for and bled for and died for looked like it had all fucking been for nothing.
And his only good son died.
Not yet.
No, that doesn't happen yet.
No.
Oh no, I spoiled it.
So,
Unless, of
well, no,
course,
I
you
knew this
really
because
love-
you explained this.
We
to
knew
me.
this. We covered this.
So anyway,
over.
the second
So-
Exodus happened because
Basically, remember the son that was the manipulative asshole?
that's
the one that takes power. Well, he's the one that convinced his younger brother that maybe he should talk to these guys and tell them to bring their grievances forward.
So anyway, big ol' Nicky Dicky,
Nicky
Dicky.
the furry,
Tricky
decides to take over.
Sicky
And-
Nicky.
Yeah, so they rescue about 1 million civilians from what is now basically turning into like modern day fucking Afghanistan, Somalia hybridization.
Hashtag destroy the terraformers.
Yeah. And
I'm
are
sorry, but like I keep forgetting how fucking amazingly, cripplingly, mentally cramped everyone in this setting is.
Yep. I mean, then again, isn't it human nature to cut off your nose to spite your enemy?
To some degree, but
Like,
oh yes,
Battletech
we
is
just barely survived. We just barely survived. We had to kill some of our own friends. We saw the entire everything collapsing between us. Okay, let's now kill ourselves. Not even 2 years after that. Okay, let's go. Here we go.
Do you know what this reminds me of, by the way? Oh, you might need to add Biggy to the stream if you haven't already.
I am in the stream.
Oh,
Oh, you mean like the stupid picture? Oh, that doesn't matter.
okay.
None of this matters.
Hey guys, guess what? You're gonna see behind the image. Yep, there we go. That's the OBS we use. Yeah.
Yep.
I'll add them next time I do readings.
Yep.
So anyway,
So-
this is
Yeah,
I
this
guess
is really
this is
this
Nicky.
is really short notice. It's a miracle I was able to catch it.
This is Sicky
Yeah.
Nicky, the furry freak, looking at his Death Star laser design, I guess.
Nope,
While-
that's his new capital city plan.
So what I like to see is that
There was a technician, a warrior, a scientist, a merchant, a laborer quarter, because there must be 5.
oh no, I was just looking at the guys around them, just kind of going, why do we let this idiot rule us?
Why are we letting him design this?
And
So,
then you gotta
wanna note-
remember. No, I'm not done. They think, why are we letting him do this? And then they remember, because of the lead chips eating their brain, that he's the son of the previous guy. Monarchy always wins.
Nicky also, to be fair, Nicky had a hell of a lot of charisma in terms of like he was a determined fanatic.
He's a
And
furry
that usually-
degenerate. I disagree harshly on this.
That
What's his
can
end game?
attract people. People that are desperate will attach onto that.
I'm joking.
What's his end game? Techpriest? Why was he a cunt?
Because
Because in Battletech, you have to constantly be stupid.
but yeah, here's a couple of
Do you
fun.
think Starleague's national anthem was Dare to Be Stupid?
No, Starleague's national anthem is "Oh God, please don't fuck this up, please."
Is it I want to be an American idiot?
No, it's Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
No, I mean before they nuked themselves. Do you think it was American idiot,
it-
or do you think it was Dare to Be Stupid?
God. Can I do a mulligan and say it's Bobo O'Reilly?
Yeah, that works. So anyway, the nukings happened. The exterminatus happened, and
Yeah.
Nick gets to indulge in his hidden Sim City autism as 3 engineers
Yes.
look on in disgust.
And it gets a little bit. So I'm gonna say this about Nicky. At this
Look,
point,
I'm not saying that Nicky is an incompetent person, but I'm trying to say is that a society run by literal like Mr. Handies from
Nicky
Fallout.
might at this point have actually had a bit of brain damage because he had
Might have.
a horrific fever.
You say might have, like he never.
So
he didn't.
so you know,
already
like
have it.
Caligula. You know how like Caligula was kind of okay, and then he got fucking sick, and then like that's when the insanity really started.
Until, or actually, it might not. He might not have been insane. Maybe Nick is the same boat. He just wants to see how far he can screw with people.
And then he had the fever, and now he's like an actual fucking sociopath.
So anyway, Nikki left the Pentagon worlds with like a bunch of supporters.
Yep, and they're going to these new possibly habitable worlds, and we're going to build a new society because we need to escape all of this shit. We didn't go far enough. We didn't go far enough by fleeing the Star League.
I think it's just he realized that the only way that Battletech people won't murder each other, eat lead paint chips, or try to learn how to breathe space without oxygen. I think he just realized he needs to keep them busy doing something. Look, I'm not saying the average human in Battletech is stupid. I'm just saying that I've had Sims that were less crippled than they are, and they drown in a fucking pool.
It's just Crusader Kings, man. Like, it's all a bunch of fucking inbred retards beefing over turf.
No, I think Crusader King's AI is a little more intelligent. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that the people in BattleTech would lose to the psychic apes that Garmazabi created. I'm not trying to say they would literally lose to monkeys and mechs, but I'm trying to say that they're gonna lose to monkeys and mechs.
All right, let's get back on track. We're off the rails.
Okay, yeah. So basically, he decides to create a military utopian society. Which, if you have ever heard of these terms whatsoever, and the fact that there's a fucking Mao quote at the top of this, you should be worried. Very worried.
In class society, everyone lives as a member of a particular class, and every type of thinking, without exception, is stamped with the brand of a class.
So rather than try to create a classless society, he's like, no. We must create a class caste society.
I'm not even going to comment on that.
This is his idea of how we must achieve utopia. And he's got a bunch of fanatics with him, basically. Right? And he bases it all around the military coming first. Naturally. Because he's a fucking military autist from 4chan.
It's going to be based in Red Pill, just like Starship Troopers.
Look, I'm not trying to say that the reason that he got sick might have been because he opened a mustard gas bomb container like that one commando did and died. I'm not saying he was that commando, but I'm saying that he had mustard gas poisoning.
Nah, he's the guy that was talking about having like weird fainting fits and bloody noses and said he bought a depleted uranium rod. He's that guy. That was a fake, but it still was pretty fucking funny.
So anyway, he leaves with like a bunch of dudes because I guess they all want to have guns because the only thing they understand is murder. You'd think that a lot of this generation of PTSD traumatic people would be dead by now, but I guess not.
There's still a decent amount of them kicking, but there's not enough of them for Nikki because Nikki's like, well, we've got to retake what was ours once. We must.
The horrible dysfunctional nightmare of post-traumatic stress disorder, which renders you shooting at literal fucking noises in your head and waking up screaming every night. Yeah, I want my entire society to be an endless nightmare of screaming and shooting at random noises I hear.
Also, religions are discouraged. Only the state matters, of course, and the state is based around him, and his practices, and his society, and his dad.
And ignore that I'm dancing around in a wolf costume. Don't laugh at me.
Don't laugh at me. This isn't a phase, Mom. So,
I'm just envisioning Nick Kerensky looking like Nicolas Cage in a bear suit.
So it gets dumber, right? So he basically, like, they're sorting out children. There's all these other things. There's a couple of attempted assassination attempts.
Like, are you sure he wasn't a representative of Vault-Tec that had a horrible scientific accident that took him to the wrong universe?
He might be. So about 6 years after he's left, his idea is we must return to Monkey. We must return to a more pure society. Which is basically just a fucking Mongol.
He's just a guy who really plays Red Flood a lot. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yes, he is.
He just wants to run avant-garde France.
Yes, he does. He wants to abolish the concept of the self. You are your caste and your clan now. There is nothing else.
You are just a number.
He didn't go quite that far. But
Did he try to proclaim that? Did he try to proclaim that that the state was nothing? It doesn't exist.
I would not be surprised if he said that. Yes. He also is
I mean,
culturally.
this actually kind of works if you keep in mind dictators as a whole were very strange people.
Yes, Kerensky, and he is a dictator. He's possibly mentally damaged. He's a very strange person. The closest thing to I can think of as an analogy in the real world to him is either the Paraguayan leader or that one guy in Africa that was a big Napoleon fanboy.
Idi Amin?
Yeah. No, Idi Amin was just the guy that declared himself the king of Scotland and had a bunch of crazy titles. I'm talking about the guy that had like a fucking royal coronation ceremony as emperor and bankrupted his country to do so. That guy.
Could also be like Enver Hoxha, or perhaps if you think about it, Fidel Castro with his massive obsession with improving the quality of milk production of cows in Cuba. Look, the thing is, I'm making a lot of fun of Nick, but dictators like him make a lot of sense. Not for the setting, but like in terms of there's guys like him in history.
Like, here's the thing, like Castro was an oppressive dictator, like, but also the man fucking loved him some cows and did genuinely actually improve the educational quality of Cuba. Like,
I mean, he murdered a lot of dissidents and created a massive refugee crisis at the same time. But ignore that.
I mean, like, apples, oranges. Like, overall,
what Techpriest is trying to say is that if you purge half your population, you'll actually do fine. You see, he believes Thanos is right. Malthusians.
Thanos was incredibly correct.
Yeah, Malthusian curbs are a problem. Like, we need to fix
that. If Thanos controlled all of reality, why didn't he just wish for infinite resources?
Because he probably understands the rat universe. Also, because the people who did the MCU didn't think of that.
Also, the Utopia experiment, like the guy that ran it admitted, I forgot a couple of factors in this. It's really not the greatest thing. Namely, that they basically all bored themselves to death. That was the big problem. There was no distractions, so there was nowhere to expand to, and there was no way to leave. Yep. So they all fucking killed each other.
So, okay, anyway, Nicholas Kerensky, he makes sense as a dictator.
Yes.
Like, there's always weird quirks like this. I mean, for fuck's sake, Adolf Hitler had, like, an order of pagan knights or some shit.
That was Himmler.
Himmler had, like, a fucking round table of fucking pagan knights.
Himmler also believed completely in Blavatsky, and I think there's a lot of people that go into, like,
he wanted to try to create a unit to summon ghosts.
Yes,
and use the supernatural to win World War II. I think he also did an expedition to find the Spear of Longinus.
Yeah, that was Himmler. Yes, Himmler was fucking nuts. I also love that Himmler, when he tried to run away, his I want to say that the name that he tried to use was like Hermann Schmidt or something like that, like something really fucking fake.
Well, no, it's just something stereotypically German.
So stereotypically German, and they looked at him twice, and they're like, "Oh wait, no, you're fucking Himmler." Oh god! If only he hadn't killed like
crazy
people.
Dictators are a thing. It's just when people collectively commit suicide, like Paraguay, at all times, endlessly. That's where my brain kind of turns off.
Talk about giant robots, you hanks.
Well, okay, fine. We're talking. We have to talk about do we want to just skip to where?
Okay, so basically. So you know how like there was the really hardcore testing that he did for the who's going to be the core of the new army. He did that again and narrowed us down to 800 people, and these 800 people would come from a selection of other people, and this would be the foundation of the next generation's genetic program.
Did they ever say Ubermen?
He basically is.
He believed in it, but he never said it outright.
Yes, because his idea was that we are going to, because we can't reproduce fast enough naturally to build an army to retake the Pentagon worlds. Also,
charismatic. He wasn't that charismatic.
Also, he basically says kills above all else. I want incredibly efficient warriors, as in like logistics, tactical ingenuity. Secondary to killing the other motherfucker. Yeah.
By the way, fun fact, just out of a side note, since we're talking about cloning, this is actually one of the reasons why in Star Wars the clone program is mentally crippled.
Yeah.
You need a like 800 templates. This actually makes Nicholas Kerensky smarter than the Kaminoans.
Yeah.
Because 800 gene templates actually gives you enough genetic diversity, so you can't just target wipe a person with a virus based on their DNA weaknesses.
That was the first. That was the plot of the first Rebel Republic Commando book, which I actually recommend reading. It's not bad. It's
And
when
that's
Karen
the
Travis
weakness.
wasn't. Yeah, it's when Karen Travis wasn't shit.
No, she always was. It's just she didn't get into her attempt to completely redesign the Mandalorians into being space Celts.
I mean, Space Celts is fun.
No, compared to think about it like this: a death cult that it glorifies and worships war itself as a means. That's more interesting.
Yeah.
You mean like
I mean,
the clans, right?
Yeah.
Which
So
we're supposed to be talking about.
yeah, come, Biggie, just shh.
I want
Hey,
to
this
talk
is
about
like this is
Battletech.
like remember the Red Letter Media episode where they talked about everything but the holiday special? That's kind of the running gag.
Chat, get on my side. Threaten to leave the stream unless we get Battletech instead of these jack-offs. I want Battletech. I want Battletech.
You want robots, but the problem is we're talking about the people, not the robots.
Yeah,
We can do both.
We can do both, but so basically, like they're also talking about. To give you another idea, though, there wasn't just 800 people. Also, the other incentive was basically he goes to everybody and says, "Hey, if you bone, I'll give you money," despite the fact that we don't really have money as a concept anymore.
That's what I was gonna say. What the fuck were they gonna get paid with?
Extra rations credits,
rations,
relief time from labor,
stuff like that. Yeah.
but the problem is he did it on a world that was marginal, and it can't keep that.
They called it the rocket sled to hell, which I love that term.
So what you're saying is they got paid in blowjobs.
Pretty much, but the result was the population quadrupled, but it also started.
There was also him taking it. He also tried to fucking Year Zero society Cambodian style, and sort of succeeded.
Was the merchant and science cast too? Was that a result of eugenics too, or was that just sort of?
No,
sort of.
Sicky Nicky just thought that merchants had to
the
be
war.
cast.
The war. Well, merchants because we need somebody that will handle all the icky number stuff.
Because Nick don't like numbers. They're hard to understand.
Numbers hurt his fever damaged brain.
Numbers hurt his smooth fucking brain.
Which is why he thought that 800 warriors would be totally enough to subjugate 5 fucking planets.
Yes, I know, but what I'm saying is that like.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, he was inspired by the psychotic Scottish lady, right? She took like 160 bumbos and took out a fucking battle cruiser, so you can blame her for his delusions.
Also, she followed him. She's like, yeah, I'm down with this.
Now shut up, Reginald! What are you talking to? My bird!
It's
maybe Nick also. Maybe
her bird actually canonically has her bird canonically has a name. I need to find it.
I'm just calling it Reginald until you figure it out. I'm just envisioning Nick and her talk to the bird, and like no one else can see it.
But yes or no, did Nick have like a eugenics program to determine, like, did he get like a merchant cast? Did he like look for like people with the longest noses and breed them together?
No, what he probably did was he emphasized those who could do quick calculations in the head and
risk assessment,
basically. And also luck. He's the type of dude who would actually breed for luckiness.
He'd try to fucking breed the Master Chief, basically. The luckiest Spartan. That's the only reason like he got into the program was, yes, he was an exceptional physical specimen, but he's also so fucking lucky, it's insane.
So anyway, birth of the clan. So
here's the Falcon's name. Turkina.
Okay, I was wrong. That's fine.
Yeah, Turkina is a fun name.
I made up the name, so you know.
Fucking Turkey the Falcon.
Oh. So birth of the clans. So his 800.
Yeah. So again, it wasn't just 800 that would be his genetic template for his warrior cast. There were others that were added in because, well, you know.
And they were all named after Nick's glorious. He has a big list of personas, so he's like, okay, so you're this persona, and I'm just envisioning like it's him. Like instead of drawing like pictures, it's just him in different fursuits, just representing the animal.
I seem to recall too, unless I'm remembering wrong, aren't there also 1-to-1 clones of the Kerenskys, if I remember correctly, running around?
There's those that have their gene stock implanted.
Yeah. Mind you, sort of like, because remember he's added to the clans are able to basically make an X chromosome, like basically they're able to make an egg into a sperm and vice versa in terms
Yes,
of.
I know that, but like I seem to recall like they have just like pure. They have like pure genes
I think
too. If,
they
like
have.
They do.
they
They
want-
do.
They do. Those are called retreads. They tend not to do those. Those are very, very rare. You might have one or two a generation, where it's like there's a really exceptional warrior from like 3 generations back. We're gonna try to recreate them genetically.
So anyway, each clan save one was named after a totem animal, aka one of Nick's fursuits.
His growing collection of fursuits that he kept in like a closet on it in his like personal apartment and like talked to. Yes, wolf suit. We must purge the unpure.
And after the thousands of military
Man.
tests, 800
living on a nuclear hell Earth while you're living in fear that a fat man's gonna kill you must have done a lot of shit to that man's psyche as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. Some
Yep.
of the names is kind of fun because like they
I'm just wondering where Kerensky came up with the name Sakon, because I know where Khan comes from.
yeah, I think he just needed a way to say like I want 2 cons like consoles, but I need to have like a senior and a junior.
But he didn't realize you could have used Kagan or
Yeah.
Dorgan.
Yeah.
There's like an old title before Kagan that they used to use.
Yeah.
Great Khan.
Great con, like Sakon, and what was the other one? Correctly?
Maybe he learned about the KKK, like the second iteration of the KKK, and how they would just make up crazy fucking names for their officers.
I fucking love the. This seems like a great idea for a drinking club, KKK, where it's literally just ridiculous old rich white people
like the
trying to make up
grand fucking
stupid shit.
Cyclops.
Yeah, where it's literally it's just like, yes, we're incredibly racist, but we're really just getting together to drink and to get away from our bitches of wives. So we're gonna have these crazy titles as part of a secret society.
So maybe Nick had the same logic.
Yeah. The original KKK is kind of a fun story of like, oh, this is why we don't like Confederate generals into the club.
Anyway, trials and tribulations of position. So he made these titles out of his 800 soldiers that he thinks can slaughter like entire worlds.
Yep.
They had a bunch of trials.
Yeah. So competition is incredibly fierce. The pool, the quotas, everything, because he's like, we are building up to take back these worlds. It's been 20 years. We can do it. Like 15 years basically is what he's going for. Is his time
limited resources. He did it on purpose. He's an idiot.
Yeah, he did it on purpose because struggle breeds strength. Which,
it kind of does, but there's also like, let's be real. In real life, he'd be Little Mac taking on Sandman. Sandman would just punch him once and he'd be twitching on the ground dead.
That's giving him too much credit. Little Mac is the best fighter ever.
That's what's gonna happen, and it's stupid, but.
Yep. And then the other thing to remember is he starts to come other stuff. They try to kill him again because people are seeing that, oh shit, this is a fucking psychotic leader we've got here. We need to get rid of this guy.
I mean, I guess they realized him dancing around multiple times in a fursuit was like a sign of how...
Just too much.
The idea of liberating the Pentagon worlds was never far from the mind of him and his inner circle of lunatics.
Yep. And again, the clone embryos and all that. And there's a lot of debate actually early on over the ethics of having basically breeding better people that Nicholas just fucking ignores because he's just like, nope, this is my perfect society. This is what we're doing.
Yeah, because he's crazy and he's a dictator. You do what he wants.
Yeah, you do what he wants.
This is some Khmer Rogue shit.
It basically is the Khmer Rouge, except a little less genocidal.
Here we go. The actual reason we called it what would you do for Klondike Bar? Operation Klondike!
Yeah, Operation Klondike, which is the plan. So he has his great plan.
With his 800 men versus millions.
Well, he has more than 800 at this point, but this is the Ill Clan. So common tradition is that he used 800 men. In reality, no, he had 800 official warrior cast, but there were others that were basically like seconded. So you had technicians running a warship that they're not technically warriors, but they're still fighting. Stuff like that. Later on, you'd get more. So,
Apollo
like,
Green.
yeah. And
basically, he just starts spam cloning out the 800 templates and forcing them to
mixing things around
like he's
and
doing what
raising
El
them, and
Supremo and what his dad probably should have done partially.
yeah.
Not to this
It
extent,
gets
but yeah.
He's operating without a medical license. How awful.
now it's kind of
He's a dictator. If he wants to
yeah.
try brain surgery with his twitching hands in a bear suit, you just
Now
let him do the surgery.
here's the other thing, right? There's 800 chosen warriors, and then there's a smattering of other warriors.
And that
The thing
smattering being like 800,000, and that's the only reason he really won.
basically they're warriors, but they're not clan warriors.
Translation: we would have gotten completely fucking owned if it wasn't for them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but 800 will not win you 5 worlds.
Yep. And on top of that, like, they managed to figure out that they slowly start to get the breeding program and the artificial wombs working. It's not good. Apollo Green's very slow. But once they do it, I kind of love Con Windham says we must have faith that we will find our way, capital. 800 years ago, this is the technology that a petty Earth tyrant would have used to create the perfect race before killing every other man, woman, and child on the planet. We don't need love, and now we don't need sex. Someone should have burned Darwin at the stake when they had the chance.
I don't think he understands anything about what he gurgled about.
No, what he's basically saying is that like the selection, this artificial selection, is fucking insane, and we should stop doing that. He's expressing privately that this is fucking crazy.
Well, yeah, because actually this reminds me. God, what's the name of that one? There's this great sci-fi book which plays around with FTL and how it really screws with time. I think it's called The Forever War.
Yeah, it's an okay book. I've read it.
It kind of reminds me of that because the same setup.
Yeah, like society radically.
I read a good book about third generational warfare.
Don't fucking bring up. It's fifth generational, and
you're talking about that one.
Yeah,
that's a conversation for another day.
That's our 250 sub special.
That's when we look through this fucking insane racist motherfucker, and his fucking
armies, but like only the 40s version.
No, not even that. Like he's a fucking. He wants to be a Nazi without admitting he's a Nazi. He's a Prussia boo.
Oh yeah, I forgot that one German scientist, man.
He's a Prussia boo and a Zara boo.
Didn't he like have them all armed with AKs or something?
They had AKs and they had T-34s because God forbid that because all you need
use a good tank.
And it is some of the most racist ass shit I have ever read.
Remember when the bad guys just gave guns to the gangs? And they were literal fucking caricatures of like literally. If it wasn't for the fact it wasn't drawn, you would have seen him like do an actual minstrel show.
Like this is what an old white man thinks that the inner cities is like, basically. This is an old white man from the 20s
whose idea on warfare was laughed out of the building after the Gulf War proved how mentally fucking cramped he was.
Yeah. On top of that, he has an obsession with like the fucking like Marines and stuff like that. Like because of course. Just look up William Lind and just cringe. Just cringe at this fucking autistic.
His horrible Victoria series may be a thing we do. I joke about 250 subs, but hell, we might do it.
We might at least go over it because it is some of the worst, most vile fucking shit I've ever read. This man brings up racial slurs that haven't been used in 60 years. Like, this motherfucker. This is the guy that Racial Holy War, the RPG, was written for.
And for those wondering, it talks about how the Trueborn were originally disparaged as Tankborn because they were seen as disposables.
Yeah. Yes, because that was kind of the point.
And then
it might be perfect.
Their Klondike plan mainly because everything about it is mentally fucking handicapped.
Well, he's like, okay, we're gonna do this.
The only reason it worked. Oh wow, they had to arbitrarily give a reason why this would work.
Yep.
Again, Battletech humanity proves again why I think that they should have all died.
It's 2 decades later. Everybody on these worlds has broken open those old-fashioned weapons caches and has gone full fucking Afghanistan here. It is
well,
civil
it's not
war
even
o'clock.
full fucking Afghanistan. Like there was this one warlord in China during the fall of the Ming who destroyed the population of Sichuan province down by like, it was something like 8 million originally, and by the time he was done with it, it was 1 million.
Yeah.
He wrote the infamous 7-kill stele, where he basically states that humanity's not worth the gift that the heavens granted them.
Fuck. The collapse of the Ming is a fucking wild ride.
So, yeah, basically this proves that the only reason the clans worked is because everyone has to have the idiot ball. And that's kind of the worst type of writing, in my opinion. Like, hands down, that is the worst type of writing. Basically, haha, my dumb brain damage. It's basically William Lind level. Like, the only reason we win is because these people just can't stop eating lead paint chips and rolling around on the floor, gargling while pooping themselves.
Also, let's make a point here that there's one person that's left over from the old Star League that actually understands logistics that is left in Nikki's army, and this is the only reason that he's successful.
And by understands, I mean the plot needs him to.
This is General Truscott. Who
again, the plot needs him to.
It's a reference to Truscott from actually World War II. He was I think the commander of the 3rd Infantry Division.
Yeah.
Pretty famous in Italy.
This, but to me, it just feels like, oh well, we need them to exist.
Yeah. So he's even like, this is gonna be a fucking mess, and he was right. It was a mess. So the first thing that they do is that they manage to get there's sort of groups of these people that had, once they found out that
Nick
Pentagon
wasn't dead.
That Nick wasn't dead, and the Pentagon worlds are kind of killing each other.
They just kind of. I'm reading, like, out of a population of millions are dead. So basically, the only reason they win is like, Paraguay. Those are rookie numbers. You are like, small baby. Watch this. 90% casualties.
Khmer Rouge ain't shit.
Like it's like what percentage of your population did you kill through war? Paraguay's like, I don't know, man, like 20%, my dude. You are like, little baby. Watch this, 90%.
Yeah, like it's
the only reason that Nick won is because they basically spent, and this is why I hate this shit. He didn't win because they were intelligent. He won because the other guys needed to lose, and why give them any sign of, like, intelligence or strategy when you can just have them gargle lead paint chips and fall over like a bitch?
Yeah. Also, I was going to mention,
they didn't need Truscott by this logic. I mean, yeah, he knows logistics, but like, at this point, it doesn't matter. I don't care how space Afghanistan you are. You give these bastards food, they will probably praise you to the heavens. Because they're dying and starving, like, by insects eating through their concrete and murdering them. That's how fucked they are. This just sounds like the clans did not win. The Pentagons just killed themselves until they lost.
Yeah.
Even in their triumph, Klondike is a spook. They're bragging, oh yeah. Yes, the 800s. No. They were starving and getting murdered, and they're, like, rolling on the floor begging for help. God.
But what's really the fucked thing here is that the Pentagon had actually reached a stabilized point where they were starting to rebuild when the clan.
I'm reading it right here. They're not.
No, under the Exodia Civil War section. God, once you get to the end of it, they mentioned that.
Damn it.
They'd hit a point that, I mean, it would have taken a century to recover.
By the way, here are all the names. Whatever.
Yeah, you're way behind.
Tech, you don't fucking indicate or clear anything.
Sorry.
So there's no way for me to know.
Sorry.
Oh no, our stream's gone to shit.
But yeah, no, the plan is, 4 clans per each world.
I see Eden, Pentagon Run, Boots on the Ground.
Yeah, where? Yeah, I am at the Alone in the Dark was where I was at.
That
So
doesn't help
basically,
me.
the Pentagon run, basically.
That still doesn't help me.
All right, so keep
I see
scrolling
the
down.
Exodus Civil War.
There you go. That's the section I was at.
Okay. Actually, before we catch back up, I'm sorry, but I want to see how everyone's handling this trash fire.
We lost all of our viewers because of your ranting. There's only 2 people left.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, wow.
You've ruined our chances of being famous on the internet, Adam.
Into the
Rip.
Valley of Death, 15 next to nuking the planet and having nothing left. Lands versus Intersphere. Costing in lives and materials and all resource-strapped planets. At least they just bioprint more peeps. Genetically
90% casualty rate
was
equals
never a
supreme.
battlefield commander until the Pentagon worlds are settled. You just want good killers, so you want Roombas with a knife attached to it.
Yeah, Bird's name is Turkina. Yep.
Yep.
The
The
turkey.
Roman and barbarian mercenaries. No love or sex. Incel army rise up. The clan warriors got laid a lot. Something writing the setting had a kink for casual. Yeah, oh yeah, there's degenerates
What
everywhere.
the fuck?
Yeah,
Island would be
the
What's with
rough.
sci-fi writers being horny?
this is a thing that Stackpole puts in the original like clan books, the most famous ones, where they introduce it and it's like, yeah, they kind of consider it like really just things friends do is just to fuck each other.
So the Chinese dude Paraguay that province, gotcha. How much of the
Yeah.
Pentagon world's various armies know which end the ouch come out of? None of them.
None of them.
90% casualty rate, supreme tactical victory.
Base Battle of Sui Yang, civilians eaten, strategic Tang victory.
Yeah. And by the way, Haltz. Yeah, the clans go against starving, half-dead Pentagon inhabitants, and it was still again. I cannot highlight enough.
These people thought that they could take the inner sphere.
Not only that, but like if you're trying to upsell them or try to pretend that they're like intelligent or not intelligent, but you know what I mean, like a threat. This is
the
like
only reason they're a threat is that they get bullshit technology.
This would be like saying this evil dark wizard that you created for your D&D setting shows his strength by punching a crippled dying child to death for his chocolate bar. That is the disparity of fucking difference. Like, yes, the Soviets lost against Afghanistan. I'm aware of that. But still. Oh. Anyway, Babylon.
Babylon. So basically, the first thing that they have to do is they have to actually get through an actual fleet.
How did they have a fleet, given that knowing the average IQ of these?
They managed to secure I think that Babylon actually had a full government because they had an actual naval cache. So they were kind of moving around. It was relatively intact. Like Babylon was not as damaged on the ground.
Okay, so they actually that's good. That actually establishes a threat.
Yes.
I still consider it a miracle, given that the average reaction times of these crayon eaters are that they would fucking nuke each other's ships until they're all gone.
Yeah, some wars were. That's what happened in the Inner Sphere.
And that's honestly, given the mental intelligence of the average human in this setting, and that's exactly what I would have thought been here.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say. I'm sorry. It's just I'm surprised they had a navy.
Yeah. Again, Babylon was kind of in a bit of a better situation.
Seven
there were a couple
focus of a resource extraction, rich with ice. What's the system like? Oh, they're actually not completely exploding. They actually are functional. There's no civil war.
Yeah.
Okay, then. So that's actually an interesting opponent there.
Yep.
And that's probably why Truscott went after that, because they're the hardest nut of the 5 to beat.
Yep. That's why he concentrated his fleet there.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, so good news. The clans are only 99% depressing and pathetic.
The best defended one is the next one, though. That's Cersei. But to mention, though, the main problem that the Pentagon worlds had was they lost about 2 million people, and then they were in a declining birth rate. Yeah, they lost about a third of their population in the civil wars. And just from attrition.
Hey, Paraguay, how are you doing? How are you doing after your war with everyone? Pretty bad, my dude. I lost like 1/5 of my population.
You were like little baby. Look at this.
1/3 declining birth rate, economy collapsing, insects eating us alive. Okay, so Sheridan. Okay, this is I'm getting a little nettled that they just keep stealing names of famous U.S. generals.
Yep.
Little
Well,
bit nettled.
that's Hell's Horses for you.
I don't think it's that. I think it's just the uncreativeness.
Also that, yeah.
So anyway, Sheridan, they
Sheridan
start
is
shooting the drop ships to cripple, and then he's just like #kill them all, and it works out.
Yep. It works out. They actually manage to secure it. They get their damage control teams to a massive warship, which they're eventually able to repair and return to service.
Thus giving them one more ship than everyone else in the Inner Sphere has.
Yeah, and they managed to insert onto all of the little moons around the area for the caches for the other group of warships, jump ships, and drop ships. They actually managed to secure that as well.
Now, how they have the manpower to control all of them?
Remember, they've got the auxiliaries, and this is a later thing. They just want to secure the cache itself.
How many fucking caches were made?
A lot. Basically, it was the remaining elements of the
main
part
this
of
was
Star League's army.
Yeah.
Like to give you an idea, imagine if the entire United States military went on a dangerous cruise across the Pacific to land in like Papua New Guinea and the other islands in the Pacific, and they built like all the caches that they could save. It's kind of like that. That's why they have so much.
The Coyote is also one of the famous ones at Cersei. So basically, there's two warships that are actually in Cersei because they have actual functioning warships, which is more than Babylon had. Babylon just had the big cache, which was the biggest potential threat.
And they were functioning.
Yes.
Like out of the 5 planets, theirs was the only one not exploding.
Well, Cersei was also sort of not exploding. There were spacefarer enclaves out that basically said, "Fuck the planet, we're getting out," and established themselves in basically space. And they had a couple of actual warships, which included a.
Oh, good. They didn't make an admiral steal an American admiral's name.
Yeah, the Don Quixote is the one that goes through. They eventually managed to kill the most of the warships that are in system along the jump ships. They secure.
Yep, and the enclaves were actually well trained, so they actually had to deal with space combat.
Yep. They managed to secure the outside of the system and start their observations of what's actually happening on the ground. Dag does the real bitch, basically, in terms of this is the most important target overall, arguably. Why? There's two.
Because Kerensky had it as its home port.
Yes, there's an actual shipyard here. This is very important to secure. Essentially, they all sort of did a bid to say which one of us is going to be stuck dealing with this.
Hey, I was right. Again, Battletech humanity proves why they're the most mentally fucking retarded sci-fi people out there, besides arguably the Gundam humans.
They bid.
No, because their shipyard they destroyed the shipyard in a fit of.
Yeah, fucking Clan Barak, man.
No, the Clan didn't do it. The fucking Pentagon worlders did that themselves.
Hey,
I was right. I was right.
Yeah.
They did destroy their navy, like the like the crayon-eating, curtain-staring morons I predicted they were.
Did they actually destroy the shipyard? No, they didn't destroy the shipyard.
They did. When the clans returned, however, that shipyard and its associated cache was nothing but a vast cloud of broken ships and scattered debris.
Oof. That sucks.
So again, I was right.
Yeah. So then there's Eden. Eden basically had nothing.
Because it killed itself.
No, the spacefarers had not been able to get to the actual cache. They didn't know where it was.
They forgot where they put their stuff.
No, there were a bunch of civilians that had gotten out. That was the spacefarers from Eden. So they didn't actually know. They knew it was on the moon somewhere. They didn't know actually where it was, and they had bigger problems than looking for it at the moment.
Oh yeah, Afghanistan. I keep forgetting that these people are just so fucking dumb. They genocide themselves, literally over nothing.
Oh, I also love this. The clans jumped to Fassa. That's the planet in the Pentagon run, because there were a couple of smaller little enclave colonies.
Where's Fassa?
Under the Pentagon run battles.
Here we go.
Fassa is the original company.
Well, yeah, that's why they put it in there.
Yeah. That's a cheeky little reference.
That's a
I like
nice
that.
little one. Yeah.
Anyway, there's a few more running engagements. They capture a bunch of civilians. They capture a bunch of warships.
They control the space, and now they have to put the feet on the ground.
Yep. Now the boots on the ground is the next campaign. So basically,
they won in space. They basically are orbiting around them. There's nothing they can do.
Yep. So here's where we're on. So Arcadia is the first planet that they're going to land on.
Very nice art. I like the. Oh my God, those are 1 year war Gundam drop pods.
Yep. Spheroid drop ships. Those are
drop pods.
Class.
Those are from Gundam. They are different though. They are very different in design, so it's not a steal. It's just the concept is.
Because a spheroid dropship is pretty great.
I also see what looks to be a saberfish fighting an A-wing.
Yeah,
I think that's like an X-wing or something. But no.
Oh, we had a random rogue unicorn has joined the channel.
Hey guys, I'm sorry.
Hello,
it's just fighting in the. I'm fighting in the periphery. Gives you the. Let's just say that field rations aren't great and been having the runs as of late.
Hey,
what did I miss?
Hey, it could be better. You could have proven that Battletech humanity are so dumb they will forever nuke themselves endlessly, and the only solution is a anthrax enema, because humanity has failed and should not exist anymore in this setting.
Humanity is a spook.
So Arcadia was pretty fucked.
Well, yeah, 20 years of self-inflicted suicide does that to you.
Now, they had 1.25 million in terms of population, so 1.25 million. They had
not quite
less than
300,000
because of prolific use of nuclear weapons.
Again, crayon-eating morons.
This is where they put all the Marines. This is where they settled the Marines.
Not even Marines are this stupid. These are Marines after taking 20 years on the boxing circuits, and they only took head punches. These are Marines with TBIs.
Oh no!
Look, I know there's not a lot up there to damage, but you know.
So the forces committed are Blood Spirit, Ghost Bear, Star Adder, and Steel Viper.
Like a couple thousand guys, but honestly, they managed to genocide like most of their population. It's fine.
Yeah. Now there's a couple of fun powers that have risen. There's a Shogunate and then the Nation of Hostur, which have established them. There's like a couple of other collectives, and then a Confederation of Arcadia and all that.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter. Trust God is landing first with the Adders.
Apparently, he's now identifying as a Star Adder.
Well, that's his clan. He's the head of the clan.
So all in all, from what I hear, what to do for Klondike Bar is mass genocide. Understandable.
Over no reason, too, by the way.
But yeah.
Also, the Ghost Bear cons are the big mad that Truscott's trying to tell them to not shit down upstream.
Yes, Truscott is methodically taking apart everything he encounters with minimal losses.
Because he knows that basically Nick's weird furry death cult plan is only remotely working because humanity in this setting, honestly, they're the type of kid that drinks drain cleaner and then the parents wondered why they keep drinking drain cleaner after being sent to the hospital like 5 times for drinking drain cleaner.
Yeah, and the Ghost Bears kind of get mauled a little bit here. They don't have
like,
a fun
how dare
time.
you have us do things like set up kitchens and watch cycles and prevent latrines and downstream.
Make a perimeter. Meanwhile,
Holy
like a
shit.
bunch of fucking.
It gets dumber because remember, this is after Nick did his ultra super agog death fucking circus to get the smartest people. These are the smartest people.
What?
Yeah.
Why do you think I think they should all be anthraxed?
At this point, does this mean if this is the cream of the crop? What is the average population?
Why do you
lucky
think
to know
I think 40k humans are slightly more intelligent, if not by much?
At this point, I'm wondering if they know where the right side of the barrel is at
They
this
don't!
point.
That's probably why they killed like 60% of themselves in this stupid war.
So yeah, so
60% in one war.
There was
the
there's 1.5 million. There's only 300,000 people on this planet now.
Oh my god, that's a fucking sparsely populated planet.
So the adders actually, there's some friendly fire incidents between them and the bears.
Mainly because the bears again prove why
The
humanity.
bears changed their IFF codes, by the way, too. Just be dicks.
Hashtag everyone shoot the bears.
Yeah, the adders also basically they found the best location of like civilians. They're like, oh please don't shoot us. And they're like, sure. Hey, welcome to the clans, and they pat him on the back. They give him sandwiches and basically say like, these guys are ours now.
Basic reason, what you would do if you want to not. Oh, I'm having a stroke.
Also, because they like rather than institute like a fucking police state, they basically go to these incredibly oppressed people and go, hey guys, here's a bunch of food. You're now with us, and here's the glory of Kerensky.
What? So what? So what?
Look, the guy dancing in a fursuit. Perpetual
vanguards. What
the psychotic Year Zero juche wearing furry is a better leader. Is a better leader than everyone else in this shit show of a rat fuck nightmare.
I did not expect you to get so mad about this. I'm enjoying myself immensely.
It's because. Look, it's one thing if they won because of either tactical cleverness, sheer superiority, or using hit and run, like actual methods that would make sense. They're winning because the other side eats wall candy, nukes themselves until they're almost all fucking dead. Yeah. This doesn't show how badass they are. They're even killing themselves.
So they do.
Police Academy has better fucking training than this. The movie Police Academy's better. I think Glass Joe would be a better fucking general than half of these people.
So what you're saying is all hail Ilkhan Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen would run this fucking sinking.
Oh wait, no, he.
So if you'll continue down, this is just the Western continent. There's a few other holdouts. So the clans basically they work, they do it, and there's a guy named Sheriff Reed who fights honorably against the he was an SLDF captain who basically like kept everybody together and made an actual republic. And the clans fucking destroy it.
Oh dear, we have a society.
They were probably the best trained, best equipped people on the planet. They actually defeated the first clan forces to come at them. They fucking murked them. And then he basically like fights a running battle, manages to dies in the battle, and basically like all of his troops are now absorbed by the Steel Vipers.
I'm sorry, but you're trying to explain that there was someone no.
Reed was also posthumously pardoned of all crimes against the clans.
What?
Well, mostly because he survived. Actually, I was wrong. He didn't die. His mech got nuked, and that
would be West Arcadia, right?
He was adopted into the clans. Yes, East Arcadia, actually.
Okay, let me. Here's the for those watching the stream. Here's the image of a. Why humanity needs to end in this setting. This is them nuking themselves. I feel no sympathy. In fact, I'm dancing on their grave. Minor power, major roadblock. This is where I think this is Reed just showing why showing like there is no heroes left in man, and he's like there's still hope left in man.
This isn't actually Reed. Happening. Reed's on the east. This is a group of fucking assholes. Basically a raider nation, because it's
that feeling when Kaiser's legions run more competently.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at chat right now because I need something to pick up my emotions.
You don't tear into the death pill rations, not yet. Okay, the end is not nigh yet.
The Clan Warriors get laid a lot, yeah. Kinky, we already read that. Starving half dead, yeah. Space battle, yeah. I already read those. Most of our enemies were basically dead. We barely won. The clans became a threat after spending 250 years in relative peace, while the initiative bombed itself into the Stone Age thrice. Yeah? I have such contempt for this setting, in a way.
I think it's awesome. It's like, hey,
No, I
I'll
like
fucking do it again.
The story is dog shit. The designs are fine. It's
They-
less a
like I
fleet
said-
and more a bunch of space debris,
Oh.
yeah? Or the opponent, our battle will be depressing. The space heroes didn't make it out of clan space. We don't have space exclusive faction. Yeah, that'd be cool. Aside from Green Ghosts. This constant
like I s-
stealth nuking and mental illness is annoying. Yeah.
You think that eventually, with such low populations, that tactical nuclear weapons would not be necessary?
These are the best of the best of the best. We mad you make a soldier not murder everyone for having peace. They brought pizza. Yeah, I'm living up to my Salt Golem avatar. There's a reason I picked it. This is the first time I think I've gone full nuclear in a fucking stream.
Yeah.
Bring back Wolverine or Claire. I hope they're written much better. No, they're not. Not in this setting. But in this setting, their plan is going to be to nuke everyone again because that worked the last time, right?
Yeah.
The only way to save humanity in this setting, I'm not gonna lie, is return to Monkey after lobotomizing everyone.
So what you're saying?
Jihad.
Is there a Butlerian jihad?
There sort of is.
Holy shit!
Oh no!
Oh god!
Remember the techno fanatics that I was talking about that just bring Blake's peace to all and are encouraging the nukings?
Make penis into robot.
Basically, yes. That is their plan. They will return to Monkcake by becoming a robot.
Their accelerate. So their acceleration.
Southeast, East Arcania, taking down the big boy. Here we go. Honor and Principle, Retchlin. Aftermath. Yeah, I think the mech being on fire and exploding and falling down. That's about my mental state right now, actually.
Yeah. There's also a.
That's me right now. You see, that's actually not the last Arcadian Resistance member. That's actually me right now. I'm exploding mentally right now.
Yep. Now, keeping going down, there's a little bit more. There's some anti-clan activity on Arcadia, even continuing to the present day, because this campaign.
Because clans are dumb.
Yeah. There were also groups of nomads. Because
spacefarers.
No, on the planet.
Because of course
they returned to Monkey.
How are these knuckle dragger clanners still alive?
Well, in this case, again, the year zero using Khmer Rouge Juche state neo-Nazi man in the fursuit was the best option.
Yeah.
The one with severe brain damage and who probably poops himself at night.
Yeah. So Arcadia basically is secured sort of eventually, and in a lot of the cases people are like, holy shit, you have food, thank fucking god.
My god, praise be to the furry wearing Juche state man who has at least made sure we can eat the bugs and live in the pod. That is a step up from letting the bugs eat us and nuking ourselves endlessly after punching ourselves in the dick. I think the Zardoz Eliminator cult was better run than this. And they actively sought to end humanity.
Okay, so next up is Babylon. That is a con of Clan Seafox getting fucking wrecked, by the way, of the picture.
Oh, so so he knows my pain. Good.
Yes, that's a Flashman, by the way. It's a nice little mech. A couple of large lasers, a flamethrower, more lasers.
Flashback. Can't forget you, baby. Anyway, so Babylon. This is
basically Cobra, Coyote. Sorry, Cloud Cobra, Coyote, Ice Hellion, and Sea Fox are all deployed to the planet.
There's huge deserts.
There's a lot of deserts.
Meteor strikes. Oh, hey, it has the same story as Tatooine. Same problem, meteor strike. Although that one was caused by gray aliens in Star Wars.
Yeah. The Exodius fleet basically is settling in like the Fertile Mountain valleys and in the small river deltas. It's kind of like, oh shit, there's a fucking death cloud on this world.
Yep. Also, basically every 37 years a massive meteor storm happens.
Yeah. It's a ghost world basically. When they looked at it, because they're like, where the fuck is everybody? Well, it turns out because the clans, they kind of gone underground.
Well, they're not
the
clans because
Well, not the
remember.
clans. The Exodius guys had gone under. Now, this is where the dumbass clanner tradition of dueling called Zelbriggen starts to come into play, and that's from that fucking crazy coyote woman
You know,
who was fucking one of the Kerenskys.
You know, the senile old lady. Oh wait, no, that's
What?
the other senile old lady.
Why do the clans just choose names like they're procedurally generated? Like you're looking
Oh,
for
well,
just
it's because the way I envision it is Nick Kerensky has a full armoire of fursuits, and like this was just his excuse to wear them as he like danced around in front of them, telling them their totem.
Yes. Also,
Well-
the Coyote clan gets mad at Clan Seafox for doing things like concentrating fire.
Why? What?
Remember,
you mean normal tactic?
Remember, best of the best of the best after 2 different Agog Skull trainings. These are the 0.0001% of humanity. These are the gigabrain specimens.
These are the
how
Sigma
far?
males.
How far have we fallen?
Why do you think I have so much contempt? They don't feel like the best of the best of the best. If you told me, you know, like this happened hundreds of years after the system was set up, I'd be okay with it because, you know, cultural decline, especially since you don't have great men leading them
I
anymore.
should note that most of the, like, half of all of the fucking troops committed to this operation fucking died. So this was not the best of the best of the best. This was a bunch of starving lunatics trying to impose like a fucking jihad on people.
Okay,
Like-
so the Babylon the clans returned to as a shattered remnant of the bustling world they left 2 decades earlier. No one power ever achieved any sort of predominance on the world, mainly because we need the plot to happen. Actually, you know what would make more sense to me? Is if
What?
Nicky came back with like some of his totems and like he elevated one of the, you know, Ooga Booga tribesmen that formed after everyone nuked themselves into one of his clan totems. Wouldn't that make more sense?
Well,
Like he picks the best of those people.
that's what they do to replenish their numbers. after this,
Eventually,
actually.
yes. But I mean, like during this,
Oh
They
God!
sort of also do it during this. That's
barely.
what Reed happened.
kind
That's
of.
what happened to Reed. Reed, as soon as he was captured, just said, "You're part of the clans now. We're not going to try you for any crimes because you're innocent. So join us. We'll give you food."
So anyway, Babylon's a piece of shit. Independent towns were the rule rather than exception. Many of them had nothing more than a fucking sheriff. So literal
Yeah.
gibbering. I'm just envisioning gibbering country prospector with the fucking raccoon skin cap and the fucking and a fucking
Yeah.
shotgun. I lived in this town and I'm gonna die in this. And then an asteroid hits him.
Often armed with maybe a rifle or a vehicle. So they're
Can't
like,
you
"This is going to
envision
be
like
fucking
Clan
easy."
Seafox? Can't you see like Clan Seafox showing up and like you get crazy gibbering prospector sure? I lived in this town, I'm dying in this town, I'm not letting a bunch of no good and they just see the meteor swarm and they just all die because of meteor swarm.
Yeah. Then there's the actual one city on the planet, which is the Camlon, which was mentioned in the first bit.
All right, where were we? Clowns themselves, specifics on the fly, agreeing upon the best. So basically, they're just not even paying attention to each other. How are these the best of the best? Fuck you, they just are.
Remember, this is after basically a purge. This is the fucking Great Purge army of the clans,
No, the Great Purge
and he calls
Russian.
them the best of the best.
The Great Purge army of fucking Russia was still better run than this.
Yes, but they also had more people. So this is like Nicky going, "I'm going to conduct the Great Purge, and then but I have like nobody. So I've just basically purged everybody."
This is what happens the year zero. Wait, there's nobody left.
This is fucking the Khmer Rouge coming in.
So anyway, they do a blitzkrieg because, you know, hey, remember Blitzkrieg? Remember Germany?
Well, the title of it is Blitzkrieg because it was a very quick campaign. It was also very bloody.
Hibbity bibbity.
Seafox lost
Their opponent was skilled and determined.
Yes, they actually shot
How?
back at them. That's what they mean by skilled and determined during this
I
campaign.
mean, if they were carrying out, like, you know,
Oh no, it's because the clans were fucking smooth brains again. They basically
Also,
pulled
yes.
a Gallipoli.
Yes.
oh my,
They literally told the Camelans, "Yeah, we're coming to kill you."
They had time to prepare the defenses, you know,
Yes,
to
and that's
prepare
why they
traps
lost
and
the
shit.
first battle.
Because of the fucking Clan Coyote being assholes. Yeah.
It's
Best of the
war.
best of the best of the best.
I know. Okay, this is also what pussy does to a man, because apparently, like, the reason why she became a Kufal is because she was fucking Andrei Kerensky, basically.
Yeah, but
You know what the
That's
sad
what
part
she
is
was
too?
in charge.
Again, the downfall of a great man is a woman every single time.
Neither of the
thank God
Kerenskys
Nick
were
Kerensky
great
only.
men.
Thank God Nick Kerensky only fucks corpses and wolves.
Oh
This is
The sad
Andrei
part is too.
Kerensky.
Clan Coyote, to my knowledge, is considered one of the more competent clans in the setting, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Clan. Okay, this part of the reason for that is that Clan Coyote gets basically. There's a group of scientists that are actually on this planet.
They got all of the recessive genes.
They got all the actually good scientists left over from Star League that had been on this planet that were still alive and actually had like set up a college and shit. So that's kind of why they ended up creating good things, because they basically made an agreement with them that, yeah, just keep being crazy asshole mad scientists and give us all the good shit. And they're like, no problem, new boss, give me more food.
Probably at this point, they're probably by this point,
So
the scientists are still.
So what you're saying is they just made a deal with Lysenko.
Probably.
Again,
They basically did.
I'm not having my opinion just keeps dropping. It's like
They also do a an island hopping campaign to secure like some of these archipelagos, which is, you know, not bad.
So some person, Star Colonel Nagasawa and her fighters are in a position to react.
The only good one, by the way, is there's a Star Commander Cherchenkov who
Dishonorable
actually does.
tactics of massing fire trash.
Yeah.
No remorse.
The other reason why this campaign is actually less important is because there was actually a natural disaster in the middle of when they were invading, so they basically stopped to do relief efforts.
Hey, wait. Oh, did they use up all their nukes? Because I would have just been like, you know what? I'm going to channel my inner Crayon Eater and just glass the whole planet. You're not getting it, fuckers.
They'd already secured the orbit, remember? But yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't use the Rod from Gods, that is the all those asteroids in that ghost field.
Yeah, the thing is though that once we get to No Quarter, the fun bit is that the first part of it is literally they encounter that there was a massive volcanic eruption during their advance across the archipelago.
I think the only thing that saves the setting for me is just the machines. I'm not gonna lie.
Machines are fucking awesome, man.
Oh yeah, like I said,
That's
look at this thing. Look at that motherfucker.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. BattleTech sets off the you know. Would the best way to describe it is ordnance porn? Is that the best way to describe it?
I guess.
And lasers. Laser light shows.
Well, it's also the classic style of sci-fi from the 70s and 80s. That's the big reason for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, if the meta plot is the worst thing I've ever fucking read, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm surprised that some of these Mongoloids aren't doing something as insane.
I say that, and I know that's wrong, but like in terms of it actually being a well-run system of miniatures gaming, it has some of the shittiest meta plot I've ever fucking read.
Yeah. I do love though that, you know, the crazy con that, like, you know, did that. So she offered like, who's gonna bid the lowest amount of forces to take this, and then there's this one crazy motherfucker, Richard Chernechekov, who's who basically
remember, best of the best people.
Well, this guy actually is one of the best of the best people, because he realized,
no, he's not. He just fought Glassjaw.
No, oh shit, I know these people. I don't have to fight them whatsoever. And he goes and he talks to them and he convinces them that, yeah, you know your big scientist enclave of mad scientists? You should just join us, bro. Like, it's been a while, like it's been like 20 years, but like, how you doing, man? How's the kids? And so he takes like the most heavily defended city on the planet in like an hour.
Just because he's like, hey, you know how you're trying to insert rat DNA into children to make little goblins for no reason?
We'll let you do that.
Go ahead, keep on. Just we'll change the rule. We'll just change the leadership. That's all we're asking.
Hell, we'll even give you the full resources of our genetic engineering program.
Yeah.
And then they're like, finally, I could create the Rat Man and the Rat Man Superior or whatever.
Yep. They also run into the actual like fucking Taliban up in the mountains in an area.
Oh god. What?
I'm dead serious.
Because
They
well,
live in the
yeah,
mountains.
you need like this is what they've. Humanity doesn't deserve anything but stick.
Oh god.
Uh, they're even nomadic on a desert world in the mountains. So
I'm
you
not
know-
gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. At this point, I'm starting to feel like that the Cyclos from Battlefield Earth
They're more
fit into the
intelligent.
setting. They fit into the setting.
Are you
How
still
much more
learning the
intelligent?
shotgun name?
There's also a mysterious pilot known as the Witch in the mountains that is killing people and shit. Like, okay, keep the next planet's one of the really fun ones.
There's the
because
witch.
Yeah,
How am I not dead?
yeah,
I am
There's some
more
spooky-
robot than man. How am I not dead?
yeah. So Cersei is like one of the barely habitable worlds.
Well, all of them are after they nuked themselves to retardation.
Yeah, but
Like-
the thing with the Cersei, the problem is that it's a very high temperature, low water levels, and incredibly crazy windstorms.
Hey, my glass storm idea.
Probably because you nuked. Probably because you
the
nuked.
dust because the dust is actually laced with toxic heavy metals.
Well, that's
Because
because,
of
of the nukes.
Yes.
It was already a problem before, but now it's radioactive. Don't you want beta particles like slamming into your eyeballs? Doesn't that feel great as you go blind as the tumors in your brain make you seize?
Well, actually, they only fought with they didn't really fight each other that much. They just
There's
did
a
infantry
700
raids.
great year. Drifts
Yeah.
significantly within its star's life zone, shifting the climate from scorching to freezing over that year. The innermost limits of so much of it's desert.
Yes, which will then become fucking glaciers for a while.
700 years. What's it fucking orbiting? VY Canis Majoris?
Like maybe.
Like it has to be one of those hype. Well, by that logic, then it shouldn't really be. Maybe it was like a really young world, but it's gonna.
It's a pretty
explode.
young world, yeah. It's gonna explode eventually, but and again,
Eventually, it might explode
any
at any
port
minute, and they don't know.
it's like, hey, it's a world. Let's use it.
It'd be great is if during the jihad
we need to let talk here.
Have any of the clans or any of the factions been insane enough to set a nuclear weapon
Not
off
yet.
underground to try to trigger a massive earthquake to destroy their enemies?
Not yet, but I bet that happened on
I'm pretty
Babylon
sure-
somewhere.
No, I'm pretty sure that Amaris had those plans, but that's just his crazy empire shit.
Oh no, you know for a fact the Capellans did this multiple times.
Oh yeah.
And you know that Babylon, it probably happened at least once since they live under the ground.
During the first succession wars, it wasn't explicitly said, but was it just nukes, or were there some like crazy doomsday weapons running around? out there, too?
There were biological
Chemical weapons
strikes.
were also used.
Everything in the kitchen sink, man.
To
Like,
give
the
you an idea,
Succession
one
Wars
of the opening acts of the Civil War was to actually orbitally bombard Venus with its own terraforming protective shield.
Yep.
I'm not even kidding. Basically, they created a solar screen, which is just reflective panels around it, so that it deflected enough radiation to allow it. Amaris just had that orbitally, like rod from God. They slammed the whole fucking system down onto Venus.
Actually, what he did was he tried to rearrange it into a giant sun laser, and then that
that's
didn't
even
work.
dumber than I thought.
Yeah, he tried to make a giant sun
I
laser.
cannot think of dumb. This.
I'm wondering, it's like, what's the point of building super weapons if you're going to destroy the potential spoils
there's
of
10
war?
billion people on Venus. Why are you doing? Because I must make solar cannon from Gundam.
But like I said, there's a point. I mean, the point of a war is that eventually you want to win and you want to have
I want solar
stuff
cannon
left.
from Gundam.
I mean, that's not going to do anything if you're destroying
Eat the wall
these
candy.
planets.
Your brain too loud.
I have too many neurons firing in my brain.
Too wrinkly, not giga smart like me. Needs
We're gonna
smooth,
make a
gentle,
pork
smooth.
like
Smooth,
baby's
gentle
bottom.
brain. Like baby's bottom. Thought smooth, fast over surface. Okay.
So Cersei's a shithole, basically because it's
Cersei
either
is fucking
in
awful.
the
Yeah.
worst cold or absolute hot.
Yeah. There's also the Empire of Hidalgo with the Brigada de los Dios.
Emperor of Doggo.
Also,
Gotcha.
basically, they have to live on the poles because otherwise, yeah.
So there's another crazy dictator, right? Which is the guy that runs.
Of course.
There's a Sand Confederacy, which I fucking love that name. Like the fucking Sand Confederacy. Really?
What are they? What is it? This Confederacy of sand particles at this point?
I guess they're just like the.
Confederate
I assume that they are just Tuscan Raiders.
Yeah, they just stole the Tuscan Raiders.
So-
they probably even
So they're
go-
basically the Taliban at the Mujahideen.
The brave freedom fighters of Afghanistan. Yes. As immortally recorded in Rambo 3.
Rocky 3.
There's also a
Amazing.
random warlord.
Rocky 3.
There's also a random warlord who found one of the only places that doesn't turn into utter shit during the years.
Yes. And he
There's
managed
like this,
to.
There's like this
he
little
killed-
crater valley that basically, because it's in the, you know how atmosphere basically regulates?
Yes.
Since it's like in the Dead Sea but deeper, its temperature stays more consistent. And it's
Yes,
under the
it's also-
largest aquifer on the planet.
Over it, actually, but yes, it's pretty great. The Snow Ravens actually took it, which is, that's fucking great.
Yeah, basically, they got the de facto control.
Yeah, they took over from a pretty nasty dictator too, and they didn't actually even need to use the military that much.
Well, yeah,
they wouldn't.
To give you an idea, 90% of the planet's uninhabitable.
Yep.
This one was simple to get.
Yep.
The Empire of
then,
Hidalgo.
This is great. I love this.
Sand Confederacy, the worst name I think.
Also known as the Glorious Imperial Dominion of the God King Hidalgo.
God damn! This sounds like Hearts of Iron 4 like autism when you get down to like some of the most shit-tastic releasables.
Oh, I thought I was having a nosebleed. No, it's just cerebral spinal fluid.
So yes, it was an SLDF lieutenant who went fucking insane and became an apocalyptic creature. And then of course, actual apocalypse happens on Cersei like fucking regularly, so he managed to get an
every few hundred years.
An actual like congregation,
Basically,
and then declares himself
it
God.
orbits for 700 years, and it's eccentric enough so that it goes to within the habitable zone, just out of it, and just in basically just out of the hot part and just into the cold part. So it constantly goes between Ethiopia during even worse than Ethiopia, like Venus before the waters began boiling. And Mars right before the gas began condensing.
Yes. Also, the Snow Ravens basically fight the Taliban. The Spanish Taliban here. Who?
Did Crazy Hidalgo ride a hell horse to try to?
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised.
To try to tilt one of the fucking Snow Ravens mechs. They should have that as art.
Yeah. The other thing is that Snow Raven later on is famous as basically the clan that fights the most with aerospace assets, because they basically realized that aerospace is goddamn crazily useful.
Well, yeah, they would not win if they didn't have control over the airspace, space.
Yes. Other clans are much more obsessed with mechs. Snow Raven's like, pilots are very, very important. We want more of them. Which means that they also have the best warship fleet.
The extent of his crimes. Let's see how many crimes he's committed.
Oh boy.
Lieutenant fought in the war against the Mars, been demobilized due to concerns about his mental state. Always devout, he turned to preaching. His apocalyptic message caused concerns. Basically, they ignored him, and then when Cersei, which was already basically a shithole anyway, collapsed.
He started to make his own cult, and then started to find other religious people, brutally murder them, and tell their congregations to worship him.
So again, to highlight the sheer smooth-brainedness of the Battletech, I'm assuming a planet like Cersei probably at best has like 300,000 people on a good day, just because the polar regions are the only areas that are habitable. Yeah, he killed like 20 to 40,000 of them.
Yeah.
Antonio Hidalgo's crimes were many.
Yes. When they found the mass fucking graves. Yeah. Again, the Brigade of the God, which...
Also, while much of Cersei's society basically collapsed, There was a tiny Kerensky Dominion.
Yes, this was people that were basically like they were still loyalists to Kerensky, but they'd been stuck behind basically.
Well, because
So
Cersei is just such a shithole compared to the others.
yeah. They also had a bunch of actual like war machines that they'd managed to salvage, so nobody wanted to actually fuck with them because they could bring the heat.
Well, you say that, but I think honestly Antonio Hidalgo should have just tried harder with his chemical warfare, crazy suicide, religious death cult thing. He would fucking do it, and you know it.
Yep. They tried, and they fucking buried them basically. They came over. They signaled that they're part of the SLDF, and they want to help fight because you guys are also part of the Kerensky's guys, right? Like the ones that left. And Raven's like, yeah, sure. And so they joined up with the Ravens to go kill the fucking.
And they were expected to be joined, but well, Nick was not happy because they were loyal to his dad, not him.
Yes. The sons of the great father. This is where that term comes, basically, because because Kerensky, like some of these people basically grew up with like Kerensky as this massive father. Like,
well, I mean, he lived to be 100, so it's probably like the last people that saw him as a human was probably their dad.
Yeah.
Before he went to
And these aren't those generation. That generation killed themselves in the suicidal retard fits that humanity in this setting have. So it's their grandchildren who are magically not dead because, well, they're not old enough to pick up the gun to suicide themselves with by throwing themselves in their own stupid forever wars.
Yeah, the Dominion actually helped out quite a bit. And then there was the Rasmussen Elite, which were basically like basically like somebody read a lot of fucking niche and decided that that's how we're going to make society. The might
I like
makes
how they're
right.
calling it the Tabor Voivodate, which means that the people here don't know what Slavic titles mean.
Yes, because they're supposedly democratic.
Well, also, they don't know that voivodes are more like a Romanian title, and
yeah, well, they're from the Space Habsburg Empire. Like, no, like really. They're Austro-Hungarian descent.
Okay, that's brain damage. So I'm just gonna look at the triple turreted tank that makes the not the Magella attack tank from Gundam. What's the one that the Federation?
Type 61.
It makes the Type 61 look like the most genius design of all.
Yeah.
I do see a Type 61 over there.
Yep. Again, Battletech licensed quite a bit of stuff.
Again, the only thing that's saving this setting for me right now is this cool art and the mechs. Yep. And also the basic idea of just, the inner series is a shithole, and you just kind of ignore the crayon-eating level of suicide that they do.
Also, the Kerensky, basically Nikki said that we have to kill off the Dominion.
Because they're only loyal to my dad and not my fursuits. I mean, me.
Yeah.
They don't acknowledge my persona.
They kink-shamed me, so I gotta kill them.
It was very intense and it wasn't very good. The Ravens were not happy about the whole thing. It was called the Battle of Bitter Tears because it's like, no.
There's also 16 Minutes of Hell, which is the Russia or whatever. There was a Thugocracy they took care of, Battle of Bitter Tears. The last campaign, which is basically just putting down Old Yeller and wasting valuable resources, which again proves why Battletech humans really should have just... let's just say Planet of the Apes should have happened.
Yeah.
I think the monkeys would run it better.
Then the Cersei campaign was actually...
apes, but still.
Yeah. So basically the second part of the southern one is Mongoose and Wolverine, who basically go through and they take out fucking Capellans because Capellans.
Well, they don't deserve to live in this setting. It's like basically Capellans are the Fable scorpions that like they sting the frog and the frog gurgles why, and the scorpion's just like fuck if I know as they sink and die.
Yeah.
They can't. It's like I can't stop committing war crimes and being retarded. Help me.
Yep. There's a couple other groups that join up with the clans. Because hey. Better than
it's an improvement. given that
It's an improvement
Capellans
over the
are
fucking
responsible
yeah.
for why everything fell apart.
Yeah. And it ended, and it's like, holy shit, we actually took this planet with like minimal fucking losses.
It's
all
almost
things
like
considered.
Cersei only had a population of maybe like 80,000 by the time that we got here.
Because of all the genocide. Yeah.
Not even because of the Capellans, just no. I bet if they waited another 10 years, the planets would be all completely dead.
But yeah, the Wolverines and the Ravens both like took some pretty nasty long-term attritional losses in terms of like equipment. But
It's
otherwise,
like
they walked away pretty
it's
well.
almost like you shouldn't destroy valuable equipment you can't replace or something.
That was mostly because they were fighting the fucking jihadis. So
No, it's
like
also
actual
because
suicide mechs.
Battletech as a whole just has a tendency to just, hey, let's keep blowing ourselves up to the Stone Age.
All right, and then
It's
up next is
Great
Dagda.
art of a dropship assaulting a thing. By the way,
Look at it dropping those bombs. It's
beautiful.
amazing.
Anyway, before we do Dagda, because I think my brain needs a slight fucking break, let's take a very slick look at the 2 or 3 people left in here.
Half the Pentagon powers are just Fallout's Republic of Dave.
Clearly,
Yes.
their furry leader needed a valid casus belli to declare war officially.
Yeah.
That they had their enemies know they were coming. All the good, even more crazy scientists became and died as the society.
Yeah.
It's kind of easy to blitzkrieg an enemy hiding in a bunker from space rods. Blake Jihad is but Larry Jihad, but inverse. Make self-division. Yep. Our saviors brought the cheesy puff and insect paste. Sea foxes, diamond sharks are pretty chill, except for Babylon Revenge, boner, war crimes spree.
Or when they smell cash, yeah.
As in raise, isn't that what Kaiser does in Fallout? As in raising useful. Yeah, he does.
Great Purge Army of the Drax the Blake is just ask Kantari's. Oh wait, they all fucking died. Yeah.
All the good, even more crazy. Yep. Dishonorable tactics of being competent. Yeah. We have more rats and children if you want to join us. You just described the Genicate and the society.
Endless options for renewal.
Operation Klondike Bar. Furries fight Grug.
Grug over the PBs.
Yeah. No defeat, no victory, only war. They're Southern Tuscan Raiders. Half the Pentagon powers are just FOs. Yep. Cerebral spine. Yeah, my brain is starting to die, but we're going to finish this, damn it.
Yeah, Wolverine had to kill off the Dominion, and they fucking hated it, and that's part of the reason why they were pissy at Nick for the rest of it.
As a dumb and hypocritical. Yeah, well, yeah. Of course they do something dumb and hypocritical. These are Battletech humans.
It's the clans.
No, Battletech humans in a nutshell.
Yeah. Anyway, so the first Dagda. So Dagda has a couple of actually really fun clans on it. Barak, Mandrill, Fire Mandrill, Goliath Scorpion, and Widowmaker. Of these clans, 3 of these will be wiped out by the most recent time in this setting.
Amazing.
They're all fucking dead. For various reasons.
Didn't the bears combine with the Draconis for whatever fucking reason?
The Free Russell Hog Republic? Yeah, because they migrated there. They
basically became campaign got off to a bad start when a blown jump ship helium seal stranded part of them at Strana Mekchi.
Yeah, they couldn't actually leave, so they had to wait. They jumped near one of the moons. They made a couple of passes. They're like, oh, hey.
Point large as the planet moons. They met no immediate resistance, making several low passes over them and finding them abandoned.
This is less than 500,000 people living in this subsistence lifestyle compared to that of the fucking Napoleonic Wars.
Because stockpiles becoming the subject of a series of trials of possession before the Elcon intervened and ordered the materials to be held as common resources. I kind of like that. Again, humans again prove in this setting why they need to not exist.
Space communism.
Well, no, it's just the fact that they fucked up so bad they don't even manage their own minds because they're just.
It's so yeah. So
subsistence.
Yes. They're about to get their asses handed to them by a bunch of fucking subsistence farmers.
Why?
To the best field,
motherfucker. Best of the. Oh god, my brain.
Are you telling me they're literally going to get killed by rice farmers?
This is mostly
Not
'cause
even rice
Clan-
farmers. Literal fucking like the Viet Cong at least had guns.
This is really funny because this is mostly because of the fact that the Macmillan brother collective, which was they had like an actual space defense facility, so they managed to use it.
By the way, these are all thugs. So in a more competent setting, it'd be pretty easy to get them on your side. You murder the horrible dictators and slowly, bring them back to things they lost. But that's not going to happen because this is Battletech.
9 members of so remember this, they had 9 guys that were trying to take all of these guys on. They fell into fucking lava. These guys set up a lava trap and they fell for it.
So the Scorpions were assigned the toughest challenge of the campaign when fighting peasants armed with fucking muskets because the industry is destroyed.
Laser muskets, actually, but still.
I don't give a shit. Destruction of the Macmillan Collective. So a bunch of Scots just hang out in a fucking communist space rice farm. Smallest continent. They were hegemony. I don't care where they fucking came from.
I love how you sound like you're having brain aneurysm while saying all
Let's just
this.
keep going. Let's keep going. So there's another super volcano, by the way, where Clan Fire Mandrill continues to prove that they are.
They have some of the most military component smartness in the campaign. They actually had mechs.
Yes.
And Macmillan, their leader, was actually a part of the campaign. So I guess he's a old man in a fucking coffin or something. Anyway,
he basically is. Yes.
Anyway, so they go into the lava tubes and die horribly as the lava kills them in something I'd see in a fucking Star Wars cartoon.
Yep.
That's like something I could see can't you see the Ewoks tricking
yes. Like in the hit show The Mandalorian. Just like in your favorite show, The Mandalorian, Adam.
I clapped when I saw Baby Yoda.
I knew you'd fucking say that.
I clapped when I saw the Irby.
So bloody Sallow. They call it Sallow because of the hit independent film where they eat their own shit for 100 days. Anyway, so they go to Sallow, which is named after the capital of the Italian Social Republic, the piece of shit puppet that was made by Hitler using Mussolini that Scorzini busted out of prison. So anyway,
this is where Clan Fire Mandrill proves it itself to be incredibly incompetent at everything.
So anyway, this is where we learn that best of the best just means they complimented Nick's fursuit and joined in his gay furry orgies as they violate animals.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I'm not trying to say that clans are a bunch of zoophiles, but I'm just gonna say that clans are a bunch of zoophiles.
I want to note that Nicky himself looked at their cons and went, "You guys fucking suck." After this campaign.
So anyway, they lose at Sallow.
They win, but it went really bad. Then there's Clan Widowmaker.
Oh no, I want to read how bad they fucked up. I'll very quickly. So they were mechs. They sent mechs out that weren't fixed all the way. They sent little half broken piles of shit, or ones that had no ammo.
Because it's Clan Fire Mandrill.
The thing is, no dead ammo. What was it? Dry mechs that have no ammo. They have mild value.
They can still kick things. They can stomp on a fucking tank.
And you can use them
in
insurgencies pretty nicely.
Yeah.
Like if you get a light model, you could kind of. And if you have like waterproofing around the cockpit, you can do.
They're all waterproof because they're vacuum sealed.
Well, then you could just hide underwater as your terrorist organization with these.
That's actually a common tactic to hide from scanners, is to hide underwater.
So what I'm trying to say is that, like, sending dead ammo mechs isn't stupid. Now, sending ones that'll explode randomly because, you forgot to put you forgot to close the reactor core or, forgot to provide the coolant needed. I know they lost the cooling fans, but, maybe put some of the air cooling fans, make sure they work so you don't cook to death. But no, Mandrill's like, no.
Gotta double check your fucking graphics cards.
Thin your paints, thin your thermal paste.
Well, the thing is, that's what they eat.
So you see, what happened is lobster. Oh god, the fire mandrills used lobster butter. Used lobster butter for their thermal paste, and well, that goes horribly wrong.
Delicious, but it smells so good.
As they lose so many mechs and men to literal rice farmers armed with laser muskets and literal
They
ghetto
didn't even have
mechs.
They didn't have laser muskets. These were the ones with actual muskets and cannons.
What?
They literally lost to people armed with a fucking 19th century technology.
Why?
Well, okay, they had tanks. They had fucking Shermans. I'm betting.
Whoa!
Yeah, they fucked up. Widowmaker doesn't do too much better. Goliath Scorpion kind of gets fucked up too. And the only ones that actually do anything really here are Barak. I'm just gonna skip ahead because
So basically, they lose to a bunch of people armed with fucking lead ball muskets. Old ghetto tanks that are probably cars with guns on them. Oh, I'm seeing a thermonuclear detonation down there. They had to fucking nuke them to win.
Yep.
Best of the best of the best.
I think that's supposed to be them cracking the biggest fucking Brian cache on the planet, though.
They nuked their own cache. Yeah!
Yeah, to try to get out of it. It took them the longest.
Commit suicide! Destroy every technology! Return to fucking monkey!
Alright. We're on the last campaign, which is Eden.
I'm gonna vomit!
Eden
I hate
is
this.
okay. Eden's where like all the popular clans except for Hell's Horses went.
Okay, so I see. Oh,
Hell's Horses
I see fucking Dodai bombers.
Yep.
CGI mech thing. Oh god, my brain.
That's a Smoke Jaguar mech there. Yeah. Now this being
Bloody
said,
vengeance would be Eden's fate. The heart of darkness is doomed to wait for sons of Kerensky, Grib merciless. You fucked up your poem.
Yep. Also, this is where Nicholas kills his brother.
Nicolas Cage kills his brother in a bear suit. You got it.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage.
I'm just envisioning Nick
Hell's
in a bear
Horses.
suit.
Hell's Horses is the most successful because they actually do combined arms operations here.
So what you're saying is, the organization that was founded as a remnant of an actual army managed
Decided to be an actual army, yeah.
The basics of the.
The only problem they had was they accidentally landed in an ambush because they misjudged the landing zone. That was the only
which can
run.
happen, and that's fine.
That's fair.
Eden pulls back. He pulls back away, figures out what they're doing, and counterattacks, and basically realizes that the mechs they're attacking our mechs. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave the mechs as a decoy, and then attack around and kill them.
This is the first time I've heard competence, and this is the first time I didn't want to drink myself to death.
Yeah. They breached the walls of one of the cities named Allah, because of course, with a determined infantry and armor assault done by foot soldiers and actual armor.
Petrograd Bay, the Falcon Stoops.
Yep, the Falcon Stoops.
McDonald's Society, so I guess they had to fight the clown cult.
Yeah.
Discontent being sent to round up farmers and collect food.
Yeah, this is
senile grandma. Senile grandma knows you control the food. Which, yeah, that's true, but they could just burn it and everyone starves. And this is Battletech humans. They'll do it. They'll fucking do it.
So the Falcons lose a quarter of their forces, but they fucking succeed.
They lost a quarter of their forces to literal fucking bubbas with shotguns.
Yes.
One second.
Well, they steamrolled the first ones in the day, but then they ran into an actual nation state that was on the planet, and then that's what kind of fucked them up.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
That's fifth generational warfare working for you, baby.
Yeah, Hell's Horses did well. Smoke Jaguar decides to genocide the population. Because that's just what Smoke Jaguar does.
I wish I kept my pillow with me to scream into.
Yeah. Again, Hell's Horses is the one you'll like, because they're like, oh.
They're the only ones that actually... I don't need them to be ultra competent, but
they mentioned that he's the one that got the hardest one, the Hell's Horses, because they were like, oh, this is nice.
The Peninsula campaign.
Yeah.
The
The
setting
Purgatory
brings me
Peninsula.
hope that we can one day have true anarcho-capitalism,
I think my eyes are bleeding. This is great.
So
complete with NAPs.
basically, they realized that all these 3 city-states are fighting, so we can take on each one individually. But then they basically pull a Greeks and they all ally with each other.
Yep,
They didn't
which is
quite
actually
realize.
that's something that George R.R. Martin would rip off too.
Yes, which again they were like, oh, okay. So basically, that's when they start
You have
to
to
do
hit all
their
3 at once.
they do the other campaign, yeah, which they actually isolate them each other. They'll use like jammers, they hinder coordination, etc., etc.
Oh my god, competence! This is so
Yeah.
new. I feel so
And
good.
they have to eventually they do have to do like actual room by room infantry fighting, but
Which,
they
that
do take it.
happens.
12 hours take a city. When it comes to that, that's actually a pretty good time.
That's amazing time to take a city.
Yeah, and Fletcher then basically says, okay, there's going to be no reprisals. I am going to offer you all the chance to join us as warriors. If you win the trials, you are immediately in. The best ones get to join us directly.
In the Legacy of Violence, the Jaguars pounce.
This is Franklin Osis is basically a fucking gangbanger that was a pacifist for a while, and then then his brother got fucking got by a giant fucking jaguar, and he lost his shit and murdered it with a fucking rock. He then went on to be the basically the most bloodthirsty motherfucker possible.
Because I think what happened was the Jaguar's tooth got into his brain. It's like
I would not be surprised.
Phineas Gage, where you had the
I think
railroad
that-
spike slammed through his head.
That was 100% probably what happened to him. He was basically like,
Hey, you know how we kicked out one of those guys and he created a Christian death cult on that planet? Hey, let's keep the man who constantly screams blood for the blood god in the army. That sounds like a great idea.
yeah. I mean, he was sane. He was just really fucking aggressive.
Sane.
I mean, remember, this is sane for the clans.
Sane.
Adam, this is it's relative sanity.
Wait, does that mean I'd still pass their fucking mental muster right now?
Relative, Adam.
Yes, you would.
The word is being relative here.
Oh,
Which you have to
God.
understand, my friend.
So is their relative bar of sanity the same as criminally insane? Is that like the limit?
But yeah, there were
Probably.
the wolves. The clan wolf actually does another smart thing compared to the other two, the jaguars and falcons, who just kind of fuck. So there's
lose to fucking Bubba. I mean, they win, but honestly, if it takes like a quarter of you to kill Bubba's, I'm fucking sorry, you lose.
There wasn't a in Falcon's case. To be fair, they were actually dealing with an industrial nation state. That one actually had an army.
Fair enough. I was just making because they talking about farmers with shotguns, so you know.
That was more Smoke Jaguar.
How do you lose to Bubba's with shotguns?
They didn't lose. They just massacred all of them.
Here's the thing: if you're reduced to massacring all of them and suffering massive casualties, you lose. I don't fucking care if you win the battle.
This is a pattern for Jaguar. So right, the wolves basically start by offering surrender to everyone else because they basically do the carrot and they say, hey, we're landing. The problem is that they're dealing with a bunch of drunken hillbillies, so they'd have occasional like security clashes with like military police because of just drunken brawls. Otherwise, though, the wolves were basically securing all the uranium on the planet.
Were they then did they then start drinking it? Because honestly, at this point, I believe they would.
They also
fought. Aliens are stealing my uranium.
They were fighting Bubba's at first. Then there's the last section of it. This is the actual big kahuna on the planet.
Ascendancy?
The Levick Ascendancy. Also known as the Grand Campaign, because these guys actually had 2 battalions of mechs, infantry and armor regiments, and a significant aerospace force.
They just sat there with their thumb up their ass the entire time because, you know,
they were just watching. because they were just watching like all of their rivals getting fucking annihilated. Like,
Hey, I'm not trying to say that the clans only win because literally everyone is being mentally fucking crippled. But no.
The clans are winning because everyone's mentally fucking crippled.
Yeah.
yeah, they also got the Levick Ascendancy also did the smart thing and tried to do decapitation raids on the clans.
I mean, the only clan that doing that too would have been smart would have been the Hell's Horses and arguably the Wolves.
Yeah. Then we hit to
Because hey, if you kill the smoked jaguar dude, I'm not gonna lie, you probably would get someone better.
Yeah. Then comes the next thing, right? So there's about 160 clan warriors, but Hell's Horses of course cheats because they're like, a warrior is technically a tank, so a tank crew is a single warrior. We swear we're not cheating, guys.
So we totes are not cheating.
Well, you see, Hell's Horses realizes that trying to fight with only a limited amount of men is the dumbest thing ever.
Yep.
Anyway, that's a cool battle there, the Battle of Eden up there in that cool picture.
Yeah.
I just kind of wish that the
Very nice.
lead up to this wasn't due to literally every guy they faced being the most retarded entities on the fucking universe.
Yeah. Now here's what the Ascendancy does: is the Ascendancy realizes that if we kill them all, we win.
Are they just gonna thermonuclear detonate everywhere? Because that's.
Basically, no. Their plan is to
Zugzwang.
Basically, their plan is that they're going to withdraw into their actual city, New Moscow, or Novi Moskva. Because
is this a genius gigabrain?
Because remember, okay, the clans have maybe 160 warriors total, not continuing the Hell's Horses who are cheating. Urban conflict is usually a very bloody thing for an attacker. So their plan is to force the clans to fuck off by just killing enough of them that they have to retreat.
I'm gonna get
despite being fanatics.
Again.
This is not the worst because they can't siege it. They don't have the numbers, so they have to attack.
I don't think he's taking it well.
I think I'm sorry for Adam because I think he expected that this would be a fun one for him.
I'm gonna be honest too. Listen to this. The clans sound it's amazing. The clans didn't fucking spontaneously explode. To be honest,
yes, it is. The clans are retarded.
Well, no, it's not amazing. It's literally we made them. Well,
we have to explain why they're alive, which is that everyone they fought early on was fucking retarded.
See,
I mean, there's better ways to do.
See, here's the thing. You know what did that concept well? Kaiser's Legion. You want to know why it worked with Kaiser's Legion? Because he beat like 50
people?
fucking tribals.
Yeah, he basically just ganged up on a tribe one by one and killed.
He also did a couple of other minor things like standardize equipment, organize a basic form of industry.
Yep.
Admittedly, it's still dog shit. It's still stupid. They're basically a barbarian nation with elements of Alexander.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're a big threat mainly because of how many men they can levy. That makes sense. This doesn't.
Yep. So by the way, the Jaguars continue.
It'd be one thing if the clans who formed not because of this, but because of, I mean, I get the worst thing, but the fact that he takes 800 guys and, oh god.
Yeah, so
just have Nicholas Kerensky win in a civil war with his fucking brother, and that's why.
Yeah.
It's not hard. It's not fucking hard.
Yeah, so Nicholas fucking assassinates his brother on the 1st of December.
He gets assassinated or he kills his brother?
He assassinates his brother, Andrei.
Honestly,
now,
if this campaign was like the Civil War and he was exiled by Andrei and he just ran it into the ground, that'd be one thing.
Yeah.
It'd still be dumb. It'd still be fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So basically, here's the aftermath. There's nothing to stop Nicholas from basically remaking society as he wishes to, as a fucking
So
furry.
yeah, the Battle of Novios Squat, basically leading them into your only big capital and city. Yeah, it's bloody,
And-
but fuck you, you're retarded for doing that. Anyway,
I mean, best option they had, arguably.
no, they had other options, you motherfucker, and you know it.
Yeah, nukes. Should have just used the nukes, man.
Nukes
Recreational
intervening before the other guys get knocked out.
Yeah,
Yes, they're
there's
enemies, but hey, do what the Greeks do. Unify together to kick these shit stains off your planet. Then kill each other.
yeah. So so the
In conclusion, the only reason the clans exist is because their enemies basically spent 20 years nuking themselves, so that only about by the time they came back, 30% at best was there.
now
And on top of that, they destroyed pretty much all of their fucking equipment except for a very few other powers, and they still almost fucking lost.
now I want to note that this is the campaign that gave Nicholas the idea that maybe we can actually go and take the whole inner sphere. Yeah.
I'm gonna vomit.
Yeah, he
The
thought
fact
that
that they
this was
actually got like the
a
fact they even got
glorious
a
success.
sliver. The fact they even got a sliver
Battle
of
of
land in the
Suyang.
Hemisphere is a miracle.
Tactical Tang victory. Cannibalism.
Now, to tell you this though, here's some of the other aftermath bits. Nicholas does get his own. His crazy warrior society ends up killing him when he gets fucking a Gauss rifle round to the head in one of his stupid honor duels.
Fracture.
Hey, Gauss
Fracture
rifle?
lines again.
Well, because he competitive clans basically.
Yeah, it's
He
his fault,
fucked up.
but still.
It's his fucking fault. He's so fucking dumb.
I understand. It's just, oh my god.
Andre ends up being
That's what 3 fucking civil wars they had to deal with in less than. Even Belgium's a more functioning nation than this.
Yeah.
New Order, Death and Rebirth. Fuck the Golden Age.
The golden age is only the golden age of the clans because it's when they actually get down to business and start developing technology and sort of establish actual branching society
with their fucking gigabrain leaders in charge.
Yeah, well, remember the Clan Coyote basically had that group of scientists that they basically just said, "Hey, here's all the rats and children you want."
Inserting rat DNA into small children to form goblins that eat your fucking dissidents isn't improving technology. Having scientists invent a dildo swinging robot is not advancing technology. And both of those, you know what they would fucking invent because this is Battletech people. Battletech people make Bizarro people look intelligent, and Bizarro people operate on dumb logic.
I love science.
Yeah, so
yeah, that's what they. Oh god. Make it stop.
So yeah, there's a basic run through.
Adam fucking dies.
That's kind of a run through. I want you to look at page 112 though. There is a man whose picture I kind of fucking love because he looks like a Star Trek villain.
Oh god. Okay. That's Nicholas Kerensky. Fuck you. You should have anthraxed your sons while you had the chance.
A fat man was going to, but he died.
I like how some of them are different art styles because they couldn't be fucking bothered.
It's because it's a collection of things from other different books.
Oh god.
The wine.
Art. Like the one for Hazen's pretty good, honestly.
She looks like grandma.
Well, she was 80.
Is it Rafe Carden? Oh no, it's this guy with the hood.
Jason Courage, yes.
He looks like a Marvel movie villain.
I know, right?
It looks not a Marvel movie, like their TV shows.
Yeah.
Phase 1 or 2.
Stage 4, like my cancer. Because this book gave me cancer.
Yeah, the clans are
mentally retarded.
Yeah.
Again, it'd have been one thing if this occurred because they had a big civil war after Nicholas's death. Not Nicholas's, but after Alexander's death, and Andre and Nicholas had a big clash over what to do. That would be one thing.
Yeah,
for the
they also-
longest time,
because
I
he's
just saw text.
charismatic with the army.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I just saw text in the Black Clans Legion. It's just being too hard on the clans. But after reading this, he wasn't wrong. He wasn't
Yeah.
fucking wrong at all.
Anyway, let's. I'm not leaving. We're not leaving yet because first off, since you guys got to hear me scream, you got to be in this background.
Okay.
Everyone needs to witness to show who was here, who stood, and who fell. I fell because I'm a big bitch who can't stand this garbage.
They
Anyway.
also do. They do also have. If you go to page 133, because they go through run through what happens to all the clans, and
We'll do that, but I want to read the thingies. Anyway, half the Pentagon power. Oh, we already read that. The favorite BT writing lines. These idiots are running the inner sphere, and these idiots are running the inner sphere. Ilklan looking great. Kill me.
yeah, Ilklan's gonna be a fucking mess.
Kerensky Dominion should have joined them, been accepted by Wolverine and Ravens, and then something would have survived from Op Switchback. Hire a dude to blow on the reactors to keep it lobster thermal paste. A delicious disaster. Stuffing mech versus iron cannon.
I love the fact that the lobster thermal paste has become a.
No, wait, an ambush. That's 2 whole tactics.
Yeah, I know. It's so rare. Like I think I only started. And earlier I met Genecast in Society until Wars of Reevening. Adam, you will hate clans even more. Oh, I know. We went over that in the first couple. I wasn't as angry because I was aware of how stupid they were. I just listening to their origins just made it so much worse.
Out of curiosity, Tech, if we go into Periphery next time, is it going to be more insane or just? Is it going to be more insane than the clans or less insane than the clans?
Yeah, hit all 3 at once or ally 1 and take on the other 2. Again, another way the clans could have worked is like Nick had a bunch of clans originally. And then some of the other ones that are either not as successful or have more unorthodox tactics, he just picked up from his campaign. That could have been another way to kind of make it less mentally fucking stupid.
Mind you, what you've got to remember that this was partially remember, Stackpole kind of likes himself some like weird kinky casual sex, so he needs to create a society around it.
Well, no, you just integrate that later. Have Nick be a creep.
I know, but honestly, it's kind of the thing about the clans as a culture idea aren't the worst. They're definitely unique.
It could. It's not that it could work, but it's decent enough. It's just describing how they only won because the other parties kept punching themselves in the cock endlessly until they died.
Now, admittedly, they do better in when they invade the inner sphere because they basically
it's the same reason the inner sphere fucking nuked itself even harder.
Well, that and the clans had actually genuinely improved on what they already had. Like, there's a clanner technology. No, like clanner weapons are generally not only longer ranged, but also more powerful than their inner sphere counterparts.
Tech, we covered that. It was because of the fact that technology massively declined because of a mixture of the Word of Blake / Comstar, the nukenings, all fucking 3 of those nukenings, and the fact that these assholes still had a bunch of Brian caches to unlock. Now, because they at least had 250 years of peace, you know what they could do that made them a little bit fucking better? Build up the manufacturing capacity to maintain them.
Yep.
That is the only fucking reason, because they were still working with stuff from Starleague days.
I love how angry you are.
They didn't improve shit. They just stagnated. It's just like you're trying to argue. Well, Butch Hartman, he's a stagnant author who can only create the same simplistic style with bad jokes. But, he could totally kick the shit out of John Kay, that pedophile who can't even fucking make a short clicker cartoon.
Okay, Adam, I need you to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Wait, we need to come down a level. I'm sorry, man. I'm really sorry.
Well, little do you know, I think one of my descendants became that fucking ill clan for the fucking Smoke Jaguars or whatever. That's where the boiling rage comes from their bloodline.
You are the great grandfather of Franklin Osis.
Franklin Osis, if you listen through this through the timeline, I'm ashamed of you.
I'm ashamed of you, you fucking asshole.
Now I have a question.
Yeah, Clan Andrei Kerensky could be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
If we go into periphery, is there going to be the same amount of bullshit, or is there going to be more bullshit?
The periphery has a nation of Roman LARPers. I mean, the periphery
is
a bunch of crazy stuff. Like, there's you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, the periphery is basically like.
Yeah, the Marian hegemony. They're the only motherfuckers that openly have slavery, and they're not ashamed of it.
Yeah, but part of the reason why is because they sit on like a bunch of the materials used to make jump drives, so everybody kind of has to play slightly nice to them.
Remember too, isn't like in the Elcon, apparently they made massive fucking gains against Kenosha, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I mean they do it basically like mech gladiator stuff has always been sort of popular because it's like who doesn't want to see giant mechs punch the shit out of each other?
Here's the thing, periphery is great because it's one of the reasons why I actually think that that the Greyhawk setting, the original Greyhawk setting of D&D is a little bit nicer since it's a lot more. There's just
open.
There's less characters that you have to deal with. It's
yeah.
Like Birthright kind of has the problem of being cluttered. That's an old AD&D setting that I want to go into eventually. Yeah. But even then, the logistics isn't dumb. And actually, they had manufacturing. They forgot logistics. Well, yeah, because Truscott died before he could teach anyone that you're supposed to.
Truscott basically was like, I gotta fucking die, man. I can't let this shit go back to the inner sphere and fucking kills himself or some shit. I bet. Like he just overdosed on hookers. I don't fucking know.
I know what happened. Truscott was like trying to teach like at a war, at the clan war college or whatever. Like,
and they just were all just too busy sucking each other off under the table.
Sucking each other. Well, they were sucking each other off, or like trying to find like with the equivalent of like the kinky whatever. And he just kind of starts a shotgun because he knows that none of them are gonna learn.
He's just like, I'm out.
I'm out.
My resignation from life.
Well, it's also fun to note that clans usually don't have warriors that die of old age because they literally will fucking suicide run because death in battle is better.
No. No, the only reason I would suicide in battle, though, like as a warrior, is because, oh god, my back pain's getting too strong.
Yeah, that's basically what they do once they hit like.
No, they want the glory. It's not like I old and my limbs hurt and I just like fuck this. I don't want to feel this pain more.
It's a mix of that because they're like, I'm not as good as I can be, but I can still huck a detonation pack and a suicide run on a mech. Let's go. Let's fucking go.
You say that, but no, your reasoning, it doesn't actually have the real logic.
Well, that's clanner logic. It doesn't make sense to anybody but clanners.
Better to die young than the deal with erectile dysfunction.
Basically,
that's probably why I can't. It's like the suicidal dolphin.
It's like that one dolphin. Yeah, the dolphin that died because it wasn't getting regular hand jobs on LSD. Like
they can't get it up.
It's just like, no, I don't want to live without my hand jobs.
I'm surprised that Handjob Dolphin isn't a name of one of these fucking clans.
Clan Handjob Dolphin.
Actually, that was one Nikolai suggested, and Truscott told him, "I'm sorry, sir, but that's a crazy one."
Andre just looked at him for 5 seconds and went, "You're fucking retarded," and then walked away. That's why he died. Nikki really wanted to be part of Clan Handjob Dolphin. This will strike fear into the inner sphere. And there's this their emblem is just this giant dolphin dick, and they will ride into battle on dragon dildos. And then Andrew just looks at him, and says, "Dad never loved you for a reason."
I needed that. Oh god, that actually reminds me. Before we head off, because it's late, it's long. This is about a little over 3 hours. Sorry, fellas, for being this long.
We rambled about quite a bit of different stuff, but let's be honest, like Clan Handjob Dolphin was worth it.
I'm glad that I'm glad that I mentioned that. I feel like that we should actually, if you could design clans, I think Handjob Dolphin should be.
Oh no, you forgot the best part. The mech pilots go into battle buck-ass naked. Why? Because remember,
Because they need
heating...
the dragon dildos and also the heating systems. Yes.
But
Well, that's the
there's a
question I
third
wanted to
reason.
ask you.
Remember, the scariest thing in the world is a screaming man buck-ass naked with his erect cock going after you.
Well, he's holding
Because
a
in
giant
battle,
fucking
the
weapon,
adrenaline will give you a stiffy.
Yeah. There's
Hand
a reason
job.
why Clan Handjob Dolphin. Dolphin Handjob because no,
Is that-
is
this peak? Is the question is Clan Handjob Dolphin? Is that peak clan?
That's something that could probably exist.
peak clan naming is like Clan Snake Cobra, but
Is it really?
and Tech's already talked about that. No, there isn't actually a Snake Cobra. There is a Cloud Cobra, a Star Adder, and a Steel Viper.
Also, the Kerensky Hazen line has been fused. Wars of Reaving, best thing ever. Remove Clanner, yeah.
Yeah, that's me actually. So
they did have manufacturing. They forget logistics, which are even because Truss got shot himself when none of them listened to him.
yeah. Also, Andre knew that the clan names are better without the stupid prefixes.
That's why he was shot. He was like, "Can't we just call them the?"
Can we just like why do we have to be the Jade Falcons? Why can't it just be the Falcons? Why are we putting two names here?
Oh, I got one.
Hey,
Andre probably was like,
Kerensky.
"Why don't we use like the Thunderbirds? Like
Why are we using like animals that are actually around us here?
Like the
Why the fuck
griffins.
did you? No, because like all the animals are actual animals that are found on like the worlds or were brought with them to populate ecosystems.
What's
like,
that?
why are you naming them after our pets?
Yeah, like I have a pet fucking Wolverine. Why are you naming a clan Wolverine? What's wrong with you?
And then like I just envisioning at one point Nick is just like he's like on the equivalent, like the future equivalent of Fur Affinity or whatever, or F list, and Andre just walks in like Alexander's on his deathbed wheezing like, "Son, come, I must tell you things."
I never loved you, and then he just fucking dies. You piece of shit. Just that's his last words.
You are always an eternal disappointment, son.
Loved your brother more than you.
My one regret is your mother outlived you. And your mother died before you did.
My one regret is you outlived your mother. Like, I should have strangled you in the crib.
Oh, we're getting spicy today.
Oh my god.
It turns out that Alexander didn't die. Nick just shot him.
Oh, here's another good name for a clan. Clan Big Stumpy.
Clan Big Stumpy.
That's a good one. I like that one. Actually.
Thank you, Prissy Princess.
Oh god.
Clan Rabid Wombat.
Rapid walk.
Oh, Clan Killer Emu.
Alexander, are you wanting son meme?
Clan Battle Emu. The most Australian possible clan.
I'm just envisioning Alexander Kerensky appearing, like opening the door in his like 80s, and he sees Dick in a fucking bear suit. Are you wanting son?
Oh my god.
Oh god, I think Clan Author Fiat. Oh
god.
This is getting too much.
I think we can call this a night. Thanks, guys, for joining us on this journey. Sorry,
Clan author favoritism.
Author favoritism. Or
clan writer's pet.
I think we'll leave you because we're 3.5 hours. That's a long time.
We're 3.5 hours in.
Thanks for hanging with us.
Episodes.
Sorry, things got a little spicy, and I'm sorry I began fucking screaming. I did not expect my standards for this setting's humanity to drop that low.
Join us next week, you all, for our cover of the Far Country.
Oh no, we're not talking about Far Country. Far Country is just all right. time out. I know this is a long one. We just need to cover this really quickly. Far Country is the only book in Battletech canon that is basically considered non-canon.
Yeah, it's that bad.
By
Well,
who?
because essentially it's one of the hard rules about the setting design is that there's no fucking aliens in Battletech. There's none of them.
Aliens.
Well, other
There's
than
fucking
like the
aliens in Far
monsters,
Country.
like
Yeah.
wildlife on the planet. Yeah, that's fine.
Now, admittedly, Far Country, like, they find fucking bird people on a planet that they misjumped to, and it involves, like, a fucking weeaboo with, like, a locust running around and, like, killing pirates. It's
What?
kind of... It's weird. It's a
What?
weird book. Also, the Draconis weeaboo is also a ninja, because, you
Of
know...
course.
Of course
90s.
he would be. Why wouldn't he be?
Clan Alien Burb. That's Far Country.
That's Far Country. The best thing about that is that there's actually a reference in the HBS Battletech to that book, where there's a talk about, but when you talk to the navigator, she mentions like, I have to do the calculations because otherwise we'll misjump, and like I don't want to end up on a planet covered in birds, because she fucking hates birds.
Of course.
Yeah, there's like, she mentions because she was on a world where there was like massive fucking carrier pigeon flock, basically like passenger pigeons all the fucking time. Can you imagine how annoying that would be in the morning? Just like this flock of fucking parrots just flying past you, and she's like,
I love parrots. Parrots are adorable.
Now
They're chirpy.
they're great.
Though. They're loud.
They're chirpy though. They're very loud. Now imagine 3,000 of them outside your window.
Well, that's like living in Australia with the budgies.
Yeah. Actually, just living in Australia in general, like people, like I mean,
imagine a horde of Australian magpies going.
Yeah, basically. Is he also a cyborg? I think he was.
Of course, you need robot ninja like samurai.
Why wouldn't he be? Why wouldn't he be?
So okay,
I mean,
so we got we have the gray fox. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing about the Draconis Combine, right? It's literally the most weeb shit of all time. You can have a ninja named Irish O'Malley, and this is totally fine canonically because it's like,
You make it sound like that's a bad thing.
no, as in like you can have a guy named
That's
Irish
just
O'Malley
Falcon
who is an
binary.
honorable samurai that is also a ninja that fights for the Emperor, I mean the Coordinator, and will commit Sudoku.
So that's just Falcon binary, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for joining us. Next week, I don't know what it'll be. I do know that I have a video that I'm just getting around to editing. I know that Street Fighter will come up soon. The Death Race was brought up at least once.
We might do that. Otherwise, we might go back to World of Darkness eventually.
We might do Romance of the Three Changelings.
Which, again, I think you'll genuinely like it. It's a pretty great palate cleanser of a setting.
Again, I was just mostly not disappointed, but like horrified, like because I went in with low expectations because this is BattleTech.
Yeah, it's a schlocky setting.
It kept sinking though.
Yeah, this book was a race to the bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, Operation Klondike is one of those things where it had always been referenced, but going into detail on it is sort of like, I think that was a bit of a mistake.
Mistakes were made.
Several mistakes. Big mistakes were fucking made.
Now, remember, everybody, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And put down in the comments, too, what Battletech-related subject you want us to give our 2 cents on. So we can pander to you.
I will say right now, it will not. We can't do clans, like, in a row again.
Yeah, like, this would have to be non-clans.
I'd need a book between this. Like, you heard me screaming in a fucking pillow. That's how bad it was for me.
We could do one of the TROs, like the experimental ones.
That'd be fine.
Those are like all the weird off-brand machines.
That'd be fun.
I
like honestly a mechanical, like what was it, engineering guide or something would be good.
Like the Battletech tech manual. I mean, that's an interesting book, but it's a lot of crunch in it, and I do mean a lot of crunch.
Hey, that's fine. I forget the name of the company that made this 80s alien game at like 1991, but it's literally a flowchart simulator. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think that. Well,
anyway, night, y'all.
Yeah, night.